What?
So I like how we have two different conversations going on. Like one text and one here.
It's how it normally. I just saw it. Yeah, it's how it normally goes. It'll be like messaging there, messaging on Reddit. It'll be this like the swirling like, you ready? I'm ready because you ready. I'm ready. I'm ready if you're ready. And it's just this like before every podcast, dude. I get anxious because I'm always like, am I ready? Are you ready? Am I ready? And I'm just like, and then it starts. What?
You're ready, bro. You're ready.
Whoa, we're fucking ready. And then I start talking. And I'm like, why the fuck am I anxious? Like, I purposely built this to not be a serious thing. Like, but yeah. So I normally have this like light shining on me to illuminate my beautiful face. But I did 2 podcasts yesterday, and I actually had to cut the second one short because I was getting like dizzy. I was getting a headache. It was shining,
from the light,
just shining right there. Yeah.
Oh man,
and, yeah. I felt bad. I texted the dude. I was like, "Yo, we can do another one sometime." And he was like, "No, dude, it's fine." But I was literally getting to a point where like I couldn't like think or talk. And so,
that sucks.
So FYI, that's why my face is dark. I also realized I was watching one of the videos. I can see the reflection on my glasses. I don't know if you can see it.
yeah, I can see it.
Yeah. But if I'm not faced the right way, you can't see my pupils. So all the guest sees is like me with like lit up eyes, just staring at them. So they're like, give me your content. But okay, let me make sure it is recording. Yeah, that's a fear I have. That because I have no like backup system to record. Like I save this on multiple hard drives, but the actual process of recording it. It's just one, and that's always
that sucks.
Halfway through like every episode. I'm always like glancing at the corner to make sure it's still recording because I'm just like, you can't redo these. Like,
do you have screen capture?
Yeah, that's
program?
what I'm doing. I just Mac has screen record, so and it screen records in 4K, so it's as good as it gets. But
I'm pretty sure that you can. Let me see real quick. I'm pretty sure after the video is done, you might be able to take the video file itself, but I can't be too sure. I've only done it a couple of times.
I compress it afterwards. I compress it to 1080 because it's recording the whole screen resolution, but like Skype resolution is in 4K, so it's a 4K recording of something that's like, 540p.
Dude, you got this ugly face in 4K? I'm sorry. Like, that sucks.
Fucking panties would drop, man. I'd have to shut down the pod. I have to shut down the podcast. Your wife would be calling me. Yeah, dude. It's for the greater good.
Perhaps.
Yeah, dude. So, UFOs.
I was gonna say, are we gonna just jump right into it?
Hey, man, there's no logic in this place. There's no. I like having serious guests on, like I had yesterday. I had a professional power lifter.
Oh yeah,
she's brilliant. She's fucking brilliant. And
she could kick my ass.
I felt stupid talking to her. I haven't felt stupid talking to any guests, minus the NASA guys. I feel pretty even keeled. I was not in control of that podcast with her yesterday. About 10 minutes in, I was like, "Oh, she is far smarter than me." So I was just trying to like lob softballs because I was like, I don't want to come across as an idiot. I'd find myself talking and I'd be like, "Nope, just keep going. What do you got to say?" And yeah, that's for any future guests. That's how you know you're a lot smarter than me. If I'm just staring, nodding, not talking, just like Yesterday, the guy was, and then the second guy was talking about he's doing internships for NASA with mind controlled robots. You wear a headband and you can the different the waves your brain sends off, alpha, beta, and theta waves. You can like get different LEDs to turn different colors. You can get little robots to like fight each other.
That's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
technology is fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Holy
but
crap.
even he, like, I was talking to him, and he'd kind of pause every once in a while. I'd be like, "Dude, keep talking, because I have nothing to say." Like, I was like, I'm sitting here just like I'm like all the viewers right now. I'm just drooling, like,
just being a sponge.
Yeah, literally. I was just like, I was like, dude, please keep talking, because I literally said that. I was like, I don't have anything, man. I'm just. This is your podcast. Take the wheel, dude. Fucking bombardier your ship. Like, I'm just fucking sitting here. But yeah, so which is why I want to have this one. Where
we talked about having this conversation for the last one, but we never got around to it. So
yeah,
geez, UFOs, man. Area 51, the new Naruto runners at Area 51 this past year.
I was a little upset that there wasn't a mass slaughter.
Like when I heard the announcement for that, I was just like, it's either going to end one of two ways. Either no one's going to show up, which is pretty much what happened, or a whole bunch of people are going to show up, and there's a lot of people that are going to die because I can't even get fucking access to that information. So
I remember seeing a meme. It was like everyone saying like the U.S. government wouldn't kill thousands of its own people just to protect the secret, and then it's just like it's the bear, like
the monkey,
the monkey. It's like, do you what?
You know who the fuck you're dealing with?
Yeah, seriously, like, yeah. I mean, these Eisenhower.
Right.
Couldn't get access to it, and he threatened to invade with the First Army if he didn't get like a guy to come to DC and give him a recap. Fucking, I mean, it's in the Nevada test site, and it's called the Box. So you can't go near area if you can't go near that airspace. Whatever you want to call it, Area 51, Dreamland, the Ranch, Groom Lake, and I've from like the documentaries I've listened to, it's if you accidentally like fly in there as an Air Force pilot. I mean, you're not shot down. You're grounded, but apparently, like you ain't flying again.
You're fucking done. Oh, I'm glad that you brought that up because when I was training for MQ1 sensor operator, you go through. I think I told you this last time. We went through like a couple weeks of academics first, and then you get into actual flying. And the day before we started flying, they went over like our airspace, and they're a big box. Airspace with an X through it. And they're like, this airspace doesn't exist. They're like, and furthermore, let us paint this bluntly that if any sensor operators are trying to get a gleam or a glance of what goes on over there, you will be grounded. You will not fly in the Air Force ever again. Your security clearance will probably be revoked. I'm like, okay, so that's Area 51. All right, yeah. I had a feeling it was out here, but now I know it's Area 51.
I was just okay. To get your little checkbox. You're like, not Area 52. It's not Area. You're like, buddy.
That's the big one.
I got a hunch that's the big O.
The 5-1.
Yeah, I think that I don't want to jump to conclusions, but they just pointed a gun at my head. So
yeah,
yeah. I mean, dude. Yeah. I fucking love Area. I love.
It's the most tight-lipped thing. Like you hear about everything else, like conspiracy theories and whatnot, but there's no real like meat and potatoes. Like, what the fuck happened in Roswell?
Yeah, 1947. 47.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I just said 70. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But what the fuck happened down there? Like what does go on in Area 51? And I know for the most part, what they say on the surface is, it's a lot of military grades weapons testing and whatnot. But it's not all. It's like if you know the structure of the Air Force or any military, base in general, like they don't just do one thing there. Like that's always the deal. Like it's not always just one thing. Like where I was stationed, we didn't just fly, Preds and Reapers. There was other stuff that went on in that base too. So I'm just saying. Like, I don't know, man. I don't have clearance or access to that shit, but I do have some odd experiences in my life.
Yeah, which we're gonna get to. Yeah. Area 50. It's like you hear about NORAD. Like NORAD's not a secret. I mean. You can't touch it. It can.
Right.
What is this? Aside from the probable error, they have like basically a rounding error that says we probably won't get hit by a nuke, but it's still supposed to be able to take the overpressure from a nearby like 5 megaton nuke. Like we can't get near it. You can't get inside.
Right. Yeah.
But like we know about it. I've watched a documentary on it like 1,000,000 times. This is a 48-minute documentary. So like and this was made in like the 90s. This isn't some new thing. Like you can there's a book I bring it up every podcast. I need to fucking have that author on. Raven Rock. It's about Raven Rock Site R. That's one of the nuclear bunkers, and Mount Weather. Like so these are things that are super secret in that you can't get to them, but we know about them. We can't.
But it's public knowledge, right? Yeah. Because I've never heard of either of those. What you say, Raven Rock and
Rock and Mount Weather.
Mount Weather. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of either of those.
Yeah, well, I heard it on a book that was a New York Times bestseller. So like, it's not, this isn't classified shit. But,
right. Yeah.
But it's like the White House. Like, You and I, we know what the White House is, but like we jump the fence, we're dead.
Right?
You know,
Yeah.
Area 51's weird in that you can't get near it or you're dead, but it's also just,
isn't it?
It's just nothing.
Yeah, but
it's just nothing. It's
on a totally different vein. Isn't it kind of fucked up though? Like that the government has granted, and I'm not completely, like an anarchist or anything like that, but isn't it kind of fucked up that like the government's like, well, we need to maintain as much capabilities as possible, and in situations where nuclear winter or something like that. So they have like bunkers and all types of shit all over the fucking country that nobody knows about, and they probably paid with it, with like U.S. taxpayer dollars and shit. And sorry, that was a tangent.
No,
like,
no.
What the fuck, man?
No,
like,
the title of the book is Raven Rock. The U.S. government's plan to survive doomsday while the rest of us die. Like, it's not.
Is that really?
Yeah, that's literally the title. It's got Raven Rock, and then it's got like 2 sentences, but that's the full name of the book. Like, it doesn't. If you go to Amazon, it doesn't like load the whole way because the whole thing
That's
is.
a good title.
Yeah, while the rest of us
title.
die, dude. It's my favorite book. I've listened to it several times. It's nuts though. Yeah, no. Those are the big ones: Raven Rock, Mount Weather, NORAD. I think there's a big one at Offutt Air Force Base. That's where Strategic Air Command was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's where LeMay grew the whole thing. But what?
I didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were doing like that.
I was caught.
Oh, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if you were throwing shade at all. I was like, I don't know if there's some like intra-service rivalry.
No. I mean, there is, but no. That's
because I didn't. I was like, I don't give a shit.
I was just sucking dick.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Just in general. Oh. Well, hey, bud, don't let me interrupt. Get on with it. But yeah, it's the whole thing is about this entire. They called it the relocation arc. Because it wasn't just, Eisenhower, the logistics magician. He was like, he talked about, he's like, this isn't going to be World War II. We're not gonna have our early warning and go, oh, there are planes coming. We have 7 hours before these big, Soviet bears, they, get over the Pacific and the Atlantic. He was like, it's gonna be 15 minutes before the ICBM hits, or 1,600 seconds. No, 30 minutes for ICBM, 1,600 seconds for the submarine SLBMs. And he's like, and not only that, this isn't a bombing raid where it's, the siren goes off, it bombs, and we all get out after, and okay, we lost some people, but okay. He's like, this isn't going to be war-torn Europe. I mean, Einstein's he's the one always credited with the, I know not what World War III will be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. But Eisenhower said he had a meeting with like all the top people, and he was like, you have to understand that if this happens, it'll be 15 minutes. And then he's like, bows and arrows tomorrow. Like, yeah. He's like, it has to, they have landing.
It's the reset button.
It is. It's the reset button. There was, Raven Rock goes into it, how there are these predetermined locations all over DC, like dormitory roofs or football field end zones. And they're all, that's where a chopper is going to land to evacuate the president, depending on where he is. And JFK talks about how on the day before his inauguration, he went in and met with Eisenhower, and Eisenhower showing him everything. And he's like, and lastly, and he like picked up the phone and he said, Opal 3. And he said it wasn't like a minute before like you could feel like the thud of a chopper coming. And they came, evacuated both. No one else is allowed to get armed guards outside the chopper. No one else is getting on. You don't have a seat. You're not VIP. And yeah, it's a relocation arc. But apparently Eisenhower was like, it needs to happen for continuity of government and continuity. There's like several tiers. There's continuity of government, continuity of like constitution, and continuity of democracy. And it's like down to like the core one where it's like, that's the thing that has to survive. But he talks about how he couldn't really get behind civil defense because he was like, it's not going to do anything. He was like, he was like, I'd almost rather just be like Frank and be like, hug your loved ones. Like nothing's. Even he's like, and God forbid you survive.
Right,
you don't want to be alive.
I was going to bring that point up until you made it.
Yeah, the living will envy the dead. Is that what Khrushchev or Brezhnev said? The living will envy the dead in a nuclear winter.
Oh yeah, because when my wife, she had no prior military, like knowledge or anything like that. She didn't have any family members or direct family members that were in the military. So when we started dating and got engaged, a lot of stuff was happening. And then Trump got elected, and then Kim Jong-un was, testing missiles and whatnot.
Yeah.
She just kept asking, she's like, are we safe? And blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, relatively, we're kind of, at the time we were living in Colorado, I was like, yeah, we're located, like more inland than, like on the coast, which is, I would assume that they want to hit the coastal cities first.
Well, you know what they call mainland America, right? The ICBM sponge.
The ICBM sponge?
Because we have all our silos there. So the Soviets are forced to use most of their ICBMs there. So that's how we could, no matter what, if we spread them out and hide them, the Soviets will have to dump, 10, 20,000 warheads there. So they called it the ICBM sponge. I don't know if that's any less reassuring, but
not at all.
but yeah, relatively safe. Relatively safe.
I told her, I was like, there are worse things than death on, I play Fallout 4 and I love that game, but I would not want to live that out. That would be fucking horrible.
No, not at all.
So, like I said, I was like, there are worse things than death. And I think surviving a nuclear winter from fucking World War III would be absolutely horrendous.
Yeah. One nuke. Yeah, you'd maybe want to survive that. You don't want to, radiation burns, just your skin boiled off.
Oh, yeah.
But, if there was a nuke, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, especially 2020, yeah, you would probably get some cutting-edge healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
You could survive. And, with, prosthetics and shit, brain-controlled robots, there's a future to live for. And it could your quality of life could probably be largely salvaged, or a new quality of life, a relative quality of life could be fabricated. But that's because there's one nuke area and you can go outside into the rest of the world. So what you and I are talking about, for anyone listening, we're not talking about you don't want to survive because, well, we are, the radiation burns, but no, there's nothing.
Right.
Everything everywhere is like that. Henry Kissinger said
life as you know it is done. So,
Henry Kissinger said one of the big things no one's thinking about is a lot of the injuries, it's they're either completely fatal or almost minor. It's you're either incinerated or burned alive. And there's a thin layer of people that it's just terrible radiation. Because outside of the primary blast wave, he was yeah, I'll be flying debris. I'll be a lot of broken bones, but people will survive. He's so you're relatively minor injuries. He's but you have to realize those are minor. Well, when he said this, it was 65. He's those are minor with modern medicine and modern and modern first aids. He's those are luxuries after the bomb drops. You need a Band-Aid, you need a minor penicillin shot. That now becomes gold. That becomes platinum.
Yeah.
And Ebola, or not Ebola, bubonic plague, it only takes off in dirty areas. Hey, there's no street cleaning post nuclear war.
Yeah.
That was one of our plans was after we nuked the Soviets, we were gonna disperse chemical warfare or chemical agents because there's no way to stop them. Normally, you'd be able to stop it pretty easily with modern technology and sterilization and precautions. But we were hey, amongst the rubble, why don't we just bubonic plague? And I think they want to release smallpox. Yeah, no, there's it's like what Joe Rogan said. If the asteroid's coming, do you know where you want to be? You want to be right in its line.
Right,
so it hits you in the fucking forehead.
It, yeah.
It's you want that thing to hit you in the forehead. But
because I don't want to survive that shit either, man.
No. That's why I always look at people. God. It's man, what's your escape plan? I'm dude, my escape plan is to fucking jump from the second story head first so I break my neck. I don't fucking want to live there. Not only that, all the money that you put towards saving and survival and shit. I'd play some video games now, enjoy it now, and then just dip out. When it's
pretty much
when it's time to go.
That's what it's going to come down to. Granted, there are people who are far more well equipped and prepared to survive than I am.
They're billionaires.
But I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily want to live in that type of world, man. I don't want to see the worst of humanity because, I mean, that's what you would get, too. You would get humanity, we're already tribal. Like there's no two ways to slice it. You can say that we're fucking civilized and whatnot, but we're still tribal, man. I mean, look at politics, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
We're tribal fucking beings. You want to see people get really fucking tribal? Hit the reset button on fucking society, and things will get real fucking quick. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't want to be in that. Yeah. I don't want to see that shit.
Yeah, what do you
like? Walking Dead was cool for 3 or 4 seasons, but still, I was just like, man, don't want to see that shit either.
Yeah, whenever I see shit like that, it's like post-apocalypse. I'm like, I don't even want to entertain an idea of how to survive. So, you know, when the moment actually gets here, I don't want to be digging in my memory of what should I do. I want to be like a newborn lamb. I want to know nothing. So, I've told my friends, I'm like, or you know, my family, I'm like, if it comes to it, just like. And it's, you know, it's us versus the neighbors. Like, hey, I'll go run and just see, like, I'll shout out everything I see. Like, hey, they're over here before they shoot me. Like, because I don't fucking want to be here, dude. Like, I don't fucking want to play this game. I'm like, dude, I bitch enough about modern day life. I don't fucking. And when shit, when you got fucking savage neighbors who haven't eaten in 3 weeks and they know that you've got a chicken and they're breaking down your door. Hey, who the fuck? You're gonna call 911?
Right, yeah.
There's no one's going to answer, and there's no phone line that works, and your phone's probably been melted. What do you?
That's what I told my father-in-law. Like, because my father-in-law, he's a little bit more left-leaning than I am, but we were talking about guns and stuff like that. You know, all the school shootings and all that shit, and we were talking about like AR-15s and whatnot. And he's like, well, he was like, for real, what do you need that for? He's like, you gonna take on the government? I'm like, John, I would love to take on the fucking government. I was like, but that's not what that's for. And I was like. That's for when shit goes awry, like stock market crash, and my neighbors are trying to take what's fucking mine.
Yeah.
Like, that's what that's for.
Yeah, it's in Raven Rock. That's one of the things they talk about. It was actually like a big. It like took over like nightly shows in the '60s. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like guns versus some other G, it was some other alliteration. But it was what it came down to was. If you have a bunker and your neighbors don't, and what happens when the bomb drops, and it's there's a big debate of like, well, what do we do? Like, what like Christians were very like, like what do we do? There was people like, okay, what about poor people that can afford it? And it all came down to like, do you love your neighbor? And like the general consensus was like, make sure you put a gun in your bunker because the door is to keep the blast out, the gun is to keep Bob and Cindy out.
Right, your neighbors out.
Yeah, dude, it's I mean, dude, it.
And like, I wouldn't even hold it against anybody. Like, I'm very good, close friends with my neighbor up the street, and he's a very Christian guy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect him to like, if we were in dire need in a situation like that, I wouldn't expect him to turn myself, my wife, and my child away.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I would not be surprised if he said, "No, go fuck yourself."
Yeah, because the reality is like you and I can talk about this now. You got your cup of coffee, you got your blanket behind you. I've got my blanket. I took an ibuprofen because my back was a little soresy. Like, I'm on my laptop. I had to tell you about how I had to cut my other podcast short because I got a whittle headache. Like, it's take away food for a day. For 3 days, for 10 days. When's the last time you showered? You haven't brushed your teeth. Your gums are bleeding, and they're a little bit sore.
Bro, and I stink. I have bad natural body odor.
Yeah, you lost your glasses. What are you gonna? What's going on? The window breaks, and all of a sudden, oh, it's cold outside, and now it's cold inside. Never thought about that. Mm-hmm. What happens when all that goes on for? Oh, and mind you, your dad or your brother is dead next to you because the shockwave blew the drywall into blades, and it scooped his head clean off. And you're in that for a day, a week, a month, and you remember that your neighbor's got a big old freezer of meat. How much are you really going to be like, well, they're my neighbors and I don't think it'd be good? No, you're going over there. You are putting fucking dog shit under your eyes like a goddamn commando.
I never fucking like that guy anyways.
Yeah. You're putting.
I never really liked that fucking guy.
Yeah, you know what? I don't fucking like him anyway. Yeah, like. You ever been cut in line at fucking like McDonald's or something? You ever been drunk with your buddies at the end of a long night and some asshole gets your pizza slice is now delayed 30 seconds?
Oh yeah.
That's why they have cops moonlighting, because people will fight. Like,
right, yeah.
You ever? Yeah.
It was the most like minuscule fucking first world problem, man. But I was sitting at McDonald's one time. You know, they had like the 2-lane fucking drive-throughs. You know, you got 2 different kiosks that you can order from, and like it was clear that my order was finished. You know, and I was just waiting for like space to move up. But the bitch next to me, like, cut in front of me, and she, like, ended after me, right? So she cut in front of me, and I'm just like, you motherfucker. And then she goes up to the fucking pay window, and, of course, like, the woman's like, you had, you know, my fucking order? And she's like, no, I had this order. I was like, because you fucking cut in line, you piece of shit. And I'm sitting there, like, in McDonald's, you know, yelling out my window like some crazed man, and I'm just like, God.
And when was this?
This is like no more than like 4 or 5 months ago, man.
Okay,
like,
but the fact that sticks in your mind is like the worst thing that's happened in 4 or 5 months. You know, in this post-nuke world, the last worst thing that happened to you was at lunch, but now it's 2 p.m. You've got another load of bullshit you're dealing with. Oh, I forgot about all the dogs in the neighborhood that have now formed a band, and they are now, you know, and they just ripped my little brother to pieces. Oh, that's something I never thought of. Like, it's. Yeah, so in conclusion, you want that fucking thermal pulse to just, you want to be gone. Like, that's why I was thinking about it. I was like, you know, like nuclear war, it might be the most humane way to go. Because, I mean, if the government knows that and they will with their early warning systems, they're all going to dip the fuck out. And they got 1,600 seconds to get to their bunkers. Do you really think they're going to want to clog the highways? Do you really, like, you don't say a word. It's just so, and it's not like, you know, battleships that we can see off the coast. It's not like, hey, we can see the bombers. It's fucking multiple reentry vehicles coming in at Mach 23 from orbit.
Yeah, there's no stopping it.
No stop. But the thing is it might be the most humane way, because so they wouldn't warn us about it. We wouldn't see or hear them coming. So what would it actually be like? If one detonated over me right now, it would just be, I think that's pretty humane. Yeah, I mean, if you're within the blast radius,
right? You were none the wiser, right? And you were sitting here doing what you were trying to aspire to do with your life. And I mean, if it happened to me right now, it's like I'm looking forward to a poker game tonight. So like I'm in pretty good mood. I got good sleep. I got my warm cup of coffee right here.
So it's like death wouldn't be like, oh no, it's coming. It would be whatever your final state of mind is. So death, if A equals B and B equals C, A equals C, death is this right now.
Right.
I'm having a good time.
Okay with that.
It's
that. But I mean, to be fair, I don't know. Like, I know a lot of people that don't think that way, and they're like, "Nah, man. Like, you got to survive. You gotta push through, and you know, make it for humanity and stuff." I was like,
good for that.
Granted, that's obviously your calling. Like
that is that is your karmic cycle.
When I was over in Iraq and Afghanistan, you know, for deployments and stuff, and every time I came home and spoke to like family members, like, aren't you worried about what's over there? And I think I talked about this last time. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Worry the whole fucking time? Like, if I died, it's just my time. Like,
it's.
If I happen to be in the blast radius of a nuclear warhead, it's just my time. It was
your time, dude. Right. If a series of events unfolded for a fucking thermonuclear warhead to take off from a silo, go to orbit, and come back down and vaporize you with the power of the sun.
Yeah.
It was your time, dog.
It was my time.
It was your time. It was,
And on the flip side, though, if I somehow make it out of that and everything else I know and love fucking dies, that fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like,
what do you want to do? So what if you survive? Thing. What if you're outside the blast radius? What if you get in the bunker and you know everyone you know and love is gone or are in hell on earth?
Oh, yeah. You know, it's funny that you bring that up because my father-in-law, he was telling me about this show, Madam Secretary. I don't really care for it. Excuse me. But there was an episode where they left, like, they were testing this early warning, like, system for nuclear warheads. You know, they have, like, mock drills, you know, they seem like real life and whatnot. And they have all these, you know, systems that simulate like a real world experience, you know, if a nuclear warhead was launched out of Russia or wherever the hell. So anyways, the whole premise of this episode, and it's about like an hour-long episode, is that the system has like pinged a nuclear warhead that has taken off outside of Russia. And they are doing exactly what you said. They are contacting the specific people for the continuity of government. And I mean, like, I think one of the main characters, she's at the fair with her 2 kids. And, you know, like, they wanted to take her and not her husband. She's like, I'm not going without my husband. Mm-hmm. So literally, like, she's sitting there watching her kids, her 2 daughters, you know, like, play at a fair, like, holding her husband. Her husband knows what's up, too. Like, and that he wasn't on, like, you know,
they have
the guest list.
They have literal cards. They have literal cards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they're just sitting there and they're like, yeah, it's going to hit, you know, around this time in the afternoon. And then, of course, it doesn't hit, but it turns out, like, the system, it was, like, in the episode, it was so close to, like, generals were involved, you know, and they were all about to, like, turn keys and start firing off our own nukes and this, that, and the other. And then they found out, we left the simulation running. Like, this has all been simulation, you know, there's no nuke. So it's just kind of creepy because you got both parts of that side of that coin. You got the people who are going to be taken away for the continuity of government. And you also got to hear some guy, like, you know, he's hanging out with his friends after the fact. And they're all having drinks. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I'm one of the lucky ones. I get to survive and see, you know, and have everything that I've known and loved be vaporized from the world and, you know, try to build the world after that, you know. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, man, I mean, it sucks either way. It sucks. Well, it doesn't matter.
That's what that's what Truman and Eisenhower both talked about was they both said that they weren't going to leave the Oval Office, that they would just sit there till the end on the radio to try to quell the public. And they said it doesn't matter if we survive. They said what matters is the structure of government. They said as long as there is, because one thing they repeat throughout Raven Rock is the presidency cannot die. The presidency is an intangible office. Whoever dies is instantly no longer the president.
Right.
And whoever's next in line is instantly the president. So the office of the presidency, it cannot cease. So what they talked about was they have their appointed people and up to like 30 levels of who comes next. And they both talked about, like, we don't need to go, like, there are presidents, like, they literally talk about in declassified shit, there's like an A team, a B team, and a C team, where it's like whole cabinets ready to go. And they talk about how the A team is always going to be in DC and they'll probably be vaporized. B team might die, like C team, like they're probably already going to be in the bunker. So it's more so the pattern and the structure and less so the people who fill it. In theory. Once you get a bunch of people looking out for their own lives, that's when you see the beauty.
Once we get some of our current politicians in there looking out for themselves.
Yeah. I was going to say, when you said earlier, you're like, I mean, what kind of person would go down to the bunker and know that everyone they know and love died? And I was about to say the only people that would be okay with that are psychopaths. And then I realized, I was like, I'm pretty sure that's every world leader. That's every world leader and CEO. Like, oh, all right. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And it's also one thing you think of is like, so wait, the only people that are going to survive are going to be the sole people who started this? Because you and I aren't firing the nukes. I'm not building the Berlin Wall.
I'm not flexing nuts with Kim Jong-un
exactly,
over there.
Exactly. So the only people that survive are it's not just that the only people who survive are the ones that primarily got us into this. The only people that survive are the only people that initiated it. It's
man.
Which man, man. It's it makes you wonder, like, what happens if you get some top general? What if you get someone they got a vision for like a new America or like a new world? All it takes is one unhinged guy up there, just a couple screws loose, and
you just like.
I mean, it's Dr. Strangelove. It's.
Yeah, I think about, because I'm currently in the process of building a story that I can write into a book, like a fictional story, and it's basically like a nuclear winter type America and stuff like that. And my whole premise, and it's been used before, so it's not even like an original idea by me, but I'm gonna try to make it my own somehow. But like I would think if and when that happens, right, the world goes into like, tribes, you build your tribe, you have your communities, and you look out for your community. And then, you go to war with other tribes. But of course, like, governments they're just not, they have no capacity. Like, they don't have, they don't have the soldiers, they don't have the military, they don't have all this other stuff that they used to have. So now they have to slowly build themselves back up and up and up. And of course, they're going to emerge and be the fucking big bad guy, But like, I can't imagine like what it would be like for people who lived through that. They're probably like, third generation now. They got grandkids who are just growing up. They've never seen a weapon before in their life. And then the government just reveals themselves like, hey, we're still around. Like, all the elders know who the fuck we are.
Yeah.
Fuck you, pay me. Like,
yeah. Get on the farms.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, that's one thing that Raven Rock doesn't talk about is there's no soldiers. There's no one. And I don't mean that, and like I'm not expecting these psychopaths to like be sympathetic or empathetic. I'm just looking at purely from like a tactical point. What power do you have?
Right.
Without because otherwise it's just words. I mean, that's what real politic is. Right. Speak softly, carry a big stick. It's right. Yeah. You come out in the post-apocalyptic world where everyone are just there's no softies. It is the savage, shattered society has bred. The average guy is just through experience going to be a marksman, a grappler, a hunter, a builder, going to take whatever women they want, going to kill the men they don't want. You are going through natural selection. This isn't some magical hypothesis. This is what got us here in the first place. You are going to whittle into groups of just killers. Mm-hmm. And you're going to emerge from the bunkers well-fed. And just, all right, everybody, here. I have this decree. Like, decree what? No. These people haven't seen written language in 3 generations. There is no English. They're grunting. Yeah. They're just
dude. Yeah, there's so much shit that's just like it's not going to pan out the way that everybody like.
It's not like you said. It's not World War II bombing of villages. Like there's nothing. There's no written language.
Right.
There's no hard drives. You're not recovering anything.
Which is why I've said like it really is. It's the reset button on all aspects, man. You are hitting reset on technology, on language, on money, building, all this other shit. You are fucking setting everyone to zero at that point.
Yes.
So
except for those who survive.
Right. Yeah. And the only thing that they have though is their knowledge. Like impossible skills that they've accrued before the event or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Except for, and this is the dangerous part is robotics. What if we get to a point with like Boston Dynamics or even the fucking guy I talked to yesterday who's building Skynet? Like but seriously, if you're down in your bunker and you can just have a big old warehouse with 20,000 drones that they have brains modeled after the best SEAL Team 6 member or Delta Force member.
Oh yeah.
And they're fucking made, they don't get tired. They run off fucking whatever
They're
energy.
Just make a hunt. Yeah.
Yeah. And there is no mind over matter. It's literally, does the machine work or not? Break its leg. Keep going. It'll crawl. It does not care. It is the best soldier you could ever have. You could have 10,000, 50,000, 10 million. And they're all armed with weapons. They're perfect marksmen using fucking computers to lead and follow. One guy could have the power of an entire SEAL team. And if you have all of those and they just take orders, well, now doomsday is a viable option. It's a viable coup. You come out of the fucking place after the radiation's blown away, and you send out your scout team of just fucking silicon soldiers with goddamn perfect eyesight, and fuck it, why can't they fly? Throw a rocket back on them. These things can jump over buildings. Yeah, they don't need water. What are you gonna do? Throw a little shitty Molotov cocktail on them? Whatever. There's 1,000 more behind it. That's one thing I always think about with like robotics is turnkey tyranny. It's because right now people question, even the most loyal soldiers. You'll be, at a certain point, if you're like, okay, nukes went off, now they're telling us to slaughter the survivors. Someone's going to question.
Right. Yeah.
Not robots. Robots just tell me when,
program.
Tell me where. So
feed me the line of code. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go on a complete 180 from there and UFOs.
Right, yeah, because we totally started about UFOs and then...
Dude, that's why
that's
what I want this podcast to be, though. I don't want, and not just this episode, just in general. Some people, it's a very specific topic because that's their profession. But
right, no, but we'll get on UFOs in the same vein, man. We'll segue it. So, for instance, and this isn't my idea. You ever heard of Little Dicky?
Yes.
Yeah, his pillow talk. And like the first thing that he brings up, he's like, if aliens were to come, would we be able to stand up against them? Pretty much, and he does it in lyrical fashion that I don't fucking have.
Yeah.
But like, let's say that fucking aliens are real and they come down here and they just decide to be like, yo, your planet's ours now. What up? Like I imagine an alien race that has the ability to travel however the fuck they traveled from wherever the fuck they did, but made it to like another civilization and like had the audacity to say that. I'm like, yep, yeah, our planet's yours now. Yeah, pretty much.
What do
be
we
gentle? Like,
well, yeah. What do we do? It's that. That's why I think UFOs, given that they exist, are covered up, because it's for a couple of reasons. It's like we talked about. Government's power comes from the perception of their power. It doesn't matter if it's a little gray man or if it's a Soviet aircraft. The reality is if you admit that there's something flying over your airspace and it's not ours and we can't bring it down,
right.
That's some limp dick beta shit. No, you got to be able to blow it out of the fucking sky. It's
right, yeah.
9/11. We ground every plane. It's like, okay, show of force. Fighter jets go up. In Raven Rock, back to Raven Rock, they taught we won't stay on it. They said more fighter jets escorted more crop dusters down who didn't have like radios.
Right,
and,
yeah.
Apparently Bush was quoted to say, because he would get a warning every time there was an aircraft up, and they'd be like, nope, it was just a crop. So there'd be like a literally just some guy fucking probably drinking moonshine, just and like. Yeah, fucking fighter jets were coming down next to him, and they're like,
"Dude from Independence Day."
No, really though. And they'd be like, "What happened?" They'd be like, "New York's attacked," and these are people that have never left fucking Podunk, Mississippi, and they're like, "Oh shit, do I need to land?" Like, but so that was the show of force. If aliens, if there are UFOs, if there are discs flying around, you can't acknowledge that they're even there, because if there are anything but our own, then it's an admission of inferiority.
Right, yeah.
The smartest play you could have is to not address it at all and let everyone assume that it's probably a really classified aircraft. I think that's the only play you have. What other hand is there to play?
Well, I mean, and then on top of it, like, I'm not necessarily one who believes all the people,
I do. I love UFOs. I love them.
No, and hear me out. I'm not saying like I throw them all like under the bus or anything, but there are some people you hear about you hear those telephone calls and it's just like, six-pack Joe fucking talking about how he was just abducted,
Yeah.
I'm like, I get it, but I'm like, who better for them to abduct than this dude who like everyone's just gonna be like, yeah, no, this guy's fucking crazy, right?
Good
like
point.
You know what I'm saying?
Like,
because I want to say that if they are doing this type of shit, they are intelligent of some. They're definitely highly intelligent. Like I said, they have the ability to span galaxies and come this way and whatnot. And so, like I said, man, like they have to show some sort of intelligence. Why the fuck wouldn't they abduct Joe Sixpack, who's just going to sound like a blithering idiot, when he's retelling his story. So
it's like what Bill Hicks said when he would go on all these tours in like South Georgia and Louisiana. He'd be like, I, like UFOs, travel from town to town in rural Georgia and rural Louisiana, rural Mississippi. And I, like aliens, come out speaking of things that my audience just stares at me in awe. And I, like aliens, smile and show you my perfect dental care. And he's like, he's like, so me and aliens, me and UFOs have a lot of common. But so he talks about it. He's like, why are UFOs coming to Valdosta, Georgia and picking up Jim Bob? And he's like, maybe this is their Red Cross. Maybe they're like coming down and like, hey, these idiots need dental care. Like he's like, they're coming down to Waffle House and they just pick you up, give you a little buzz your hair, give you a new shirt. You're ready to go, kiddo. Like, but yeah, they're definitely intelligent enough to do that. But you have to.
Have you ever? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say you have to walk further down that road and say, well, then are they not intelligent enough to just wipe your memory? Are they not intelligent enough to be completely undetectable? Like being spotted in the sky, I feel like that'd be like a rookie move if you're a UFO.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be just be like, oh, we got spotted, but we escaped. It'd be like, you let them know you were there. Like
Right.
you didn't turn on the mask canceling, whatever. And you got caught. Why didn't you just go back in time, you dipshit? Like,
or they're just fucking ballsy, man. Like I said, like there's been these types of reports for how long now? Like they know what our technological advancements are, and they're like, they can't track us and shit. Because I'm sure that you saw that episode of Joe Rogan where he was talking to the Navy pilot.
Goddamn right, I have. Kind of amateur do you think I am?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it was impressive though,
yes.
right? Like he's talking about the type of maneuvers that the aircraft was performing is like. No human body can withstand going like in this direction at this speed and then on a dime going that direction at that same speed.
Yeah.
Like, like it's insane. And I was going to ask, have you ever seen any like in your lifetime? Do you believe that you've seen any or experienced any?
So, and I've actually never told anyone this surely because like I don't want to be like categorized into that.
Right.
But
yeah.
Me and my roommate, I won't say his last name, but in Athens, Georgia, in spring 2012, so my second semester, at 183 Mandy Drive. I kept the journal in college. I could probably find the date and time. Mm-hmm. But I remember I'd study. So I studied for like 14 hours a day in college. I was a psychopath. Like I got A's and just crushed people's dreams. Like that's how I rolled. And it was but every like 90 minutes I would take a 10 or 20 minute break, and I'd sit on my bed and I'd meditate, I'd do some breathing, and it would help me just. You ever been like reading or writing for a long time? You get to a point where you find you're like rereading the same paragraph again and again, and it's just like,
oh yeah,
you kind of get not wanting to ever stop and just always get A's. I was like, well, I can't just stop. So that's how I learned meditation. No soul searching. It was because I was just trying to become more efficient. And that's what I'd do. So I'd meditate several times a day for several years. Sometimes I would sometimes I'd do it with my eyes open. Sometimes I would just do stuff like I would just stare at I'd always like to get really into it, and I would just stare out my window like in the evenings, and I would always you could almost become like so still and focused. You could almost start to see like the fact that like, all the the night sky was moving up the horizon. Obviously it's the earth spinning, but
the spin of the earth,
you could see the stars moving. It was really, I would sit there and I would contemplate like, oh, I live on a rock in space, and that would always help with anxiety. I'd just be like, I'm playing pre-med student human right now, but this is just the game I'm playing. Like I'm here. I'm very much of the belief that like we're here. Like you don't have a soul, you are a soul. You have a body. Like I believe
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just. I felt that when I grew up Catholic, and then even when I stopped being Catholic and, a theist, and I just meditated more, and I went atheist for a while, now I'd say I'm agnostic. That has nothing to do with this, though, I've always had that feeling that I'm just, okay, like it just through meditative experiences, and later maybe not psychedelics, I had experiences where I just felt like I backed out. It's like, you're playing video games, you get really into it, but you pause and you go to the bathroom, and you're like, you're ever really into a game, and you're like, oh yeah,
you're a big boy.
Oh yeah,
calm the fuck down.
Come on, who's mommy's big boy? I am. But it's just a game, or it's a movie. When a movie gets really, it's fucking scary. It's fucking. So you look to the side and you see your picture on the wall, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm in a living room. Oh yeah, this is a movie. It's so I would always do that, and it would help me. That would always help me do well when I was taking tests or something. I would just be like. It would be like I would get into a mindset where I didn't give a fuck. I'd be like, oh yeah, So I'd use the fear to study, and then once game day came, for me, game day was the day I got to take the test. It would be like, oh yeah, I'm just here for a little bit, and that's what I'm doing. So anyway, I'd meditate. So this wasn't like a one-time thing. So, meditating and looking out this window, and I'd do it in the morning when I worked out. I'd do it multiple times a day. So doing that multiple times a day for a year, you start to recognize you know certain. Yeah, I never knew any constellations, but I know there's a star here. I know there are two come over this tree. I know because I'm in that. If you move me even 10 feet, it wouldn't work. But because I'm in that one spot, you know, I know all the houses.
Yeah, consistently looking out that frame.
I know the sun. Oh, and like as the year goes by, you can see the sun come up more and more to this side of that. But you get to know everything. You even know like, the moon should be coming over. Like I should, look out my window. I should be able to see it coming over the roof. There it is. So you get to know. All right. So I remember one night, like evening, probably like 4 or 5 p.m. And it was February, maybe March, maybe January. But I remember it was so I was, but so obviously the sky moved over the year as well, but that doesn't happen enough in a day to be like, what the fuck? The movement of the earth, you see it every day, but you can't notice the sun moving and, rising and falling in different spots. You have to look at it months apart. So it couldn't have been that. So I was, you'd see the sun setting, and then, as the sun went down, you could, the farthest you looked above it, obviously the sky would be the darkest, and as the sun went down, more and more stars would start to appear and rise up, and you'd see more. Well, I remember looking at one, and it just kept getting like brighter and brighter and brighter, and the sun it was just below the surface, so it was still a lot of like brilliant oranges and red. And I remember I had taken astronomy at that point. I'd be like, okay, well, I know there's no chance I'm seeing like a supernova, like, because it's too rare. It's even though there's 70 a second in the observable universe, it's too rare to see one. And plus I'm pretty sure it'd kill me if I saw it. And so I was like,
if you saw it, probably had deeper implications.
Yeah. And so, but it wasn't like, it was getting slowly brighter and kind of like shimmering, and I was just staring at it, and I was like, okay, well, I know there's like atmospheric aberrations can do that. All sorts of shit can do that. That could be a plane. That could be an aluminum fuselage getting just lit up by the sun right now. But I was watching it, and it would get, over the course of like a minute or two, it would get almost kind of like dazzling, to the point where it's like, okay, I'm not just like, it's not because I'm meditating and staring at it, and the longer you stare at stuff, it can kind of start to morph. That's actually
your eyes move because of the straining.
There's a type of meditation called Tritaka, where you stare at one thing until it starts to like move. But it just wasn't that, because none of the other stars were doing it. And so what would happen is it would get less and less. Then it would get less and less bright. Like, okay, that's weird enough. Got bright, no longer bright. Probably an atmospheric aberration, whatever. But then it would take a minute to get bright, a minute to go down, but then the next minute it started to get bright again, and the next minute it went down again. So now I'm watching this, but none of the other stars are doing it.
So it's pulsating.
Yes, and mind you, like, full disclosure, I love the idea of UFOs. So of course the entire time I'm like, come on. So it's not like I'm some biased observer. So let's put that out there. But I was watching it, and so the thing that no longer got me was the pulsing was still interesting, but now this had been going on for 30 minutes. Well, now the other stars were moving above the horizon. This one was not. And I was like, okay. And now I'm looking at it. Now I'm just like, now I'm actually trying to figure it out. I'm like, okay, what could it be? Could it be a helicopter? Maybe a news chopper sitting over downtown Athens? I don't know. But, no, it's because it's like the sun. When you look at, like, the sun's not a color. The sun's just bright. It's like water doesn't have flavor. Water is just cold. It's liquid. That's what it is. There's no. I'm like this has nothing. It's just brilliance, and then goes down to what looks like a normal star. Brilliant star. And mind you, I've watched planes all the time, meditating. So I'm just a freak scenario where I just so happen to know what this patch of the sky looks like very well, and it's staring at it for hours and hours on end every day, like a true crazy person. But I watched this getting bigger and smaller, but the stars are rising, and I think I texted John. And I think he told me to, like, stop smoking or something. Because I was like, oh, John's an aviation buff. And he was like, what are you smoking, dude? And I was just like, it's like, fuck you. But so it kept happening. And I was like, and then it almost seemed to start moving, like, towards me. Like, just ever so slightly. And I just remember thinking, like, okay, well, here's the thing that is happening. Now it's been like 45 minutes. I've watched it pulse to dim to bright 22 and a half times now. The other stars are moving. It's not a cloud in the sky, mind you. This is one of those brilliant blue, like severe clear, like 9/11 conditions where it's just clear. And I was like, and I'm watching this thing and I'm like, I'm not going to record it because it's like when you see a brilliant moon. How many times am I going to say brilliant? It's like when you see a beautiful moon and you take a picture of it and then you look at it the next day and it just looks like a bright smudge on your phone. And it's just like, oh, yeah, here I was thinking I'm Van Gogh. And I just, it's just, yeah, it's like, dude, it looks like you're fucking like peeping in like some keyhole, like taking a picture. So I'm like, and I'm watching this thing and I'm like, this thing's happening, but now it's starting to move. I'm not gonna record. And I'm like, and I remember thinking, I'm gonna want to tell this story one day. And so I'm like, no one's home, and I walk downstairs. There's Chance sitting there with like a bag of Cheez-Its, watching TV. He's watching like the Kardashians. And I was like, Chance, and he's like, what's up, man? And I was like, there's a goddamn UFO outside. And he was like, well, fucking A, let's go see this thing. And I was like, there's my boy. And so we walk out onto the driveway. You walk behind whoever lives in that house now, 183 Mandy Drive. You come out the back, and you got a little square driveway. And we're looking at it, and I go, is that thing getting brighter and smaller? And I don't know what the fuck that thing is. And now it's getting darker. Now the sky's like dark blue, not quite black. And we're watching it, and it's not moving anymore. So maybe I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't moving. And he watches it, and he goes, well, God damn, it is. It's getting, what the fuck is that? And he's just looking at it, but now it's like, here's a second person that's going, that's weird. And then it starts moving again. I go, Chance, is it coming at us? And he goes, I think it's coming at us, man. But not like at us. It was just, it's like coming over the horizon.
Right, yeah. And
now this is where I'm going to lose all credibility with all future podcast guests. This thing comes over.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
Plan.
JP's podcast starts tomorrow. No more competition. Yeah. And we're watching this thing, and for the record, I did get into medical school, so there are smart people that don't think I'm completely insane. That's my disclaimer. So the brightness goes away, and now it's just black. Now it just looks like, a chopper or something. Or not help, but it just looks like something black that like you can't hear yet. Maybe you ever see fight air shows. And you see it streaking, you're like, I don't hear it, and then you hear boom. So, but it's just that sort of odd phenomenon where you're looking at something and it's flying. And it's far too big to be a bird, but it's not making any noise. But now me and Chance are both just looking at it, and it's coming. And so we're waiting for anything, like the sheer of like the jet engines, the whatever. This thing goes right over our house, a couple thousand feet, no fucking noise, and on the bottom of it was a blue light and a red light. Almost looked like they were both on like, it's like if you put a red light and a blue light on like a circle and just spun it, and it was just like right next to each other, so like tight circle, and it's just this. It's not a winged aircraft. It's just this big black thing. And I feel so stupid for saying it. It's just got this red light in it, but they're not blinking. And they're just turning slow, but they're not on wingtips. It's not like one of those radars on a Navy ship.
Right, yeah.
And like you could write off that, but what you can't write off is just this huge thing. And it's going just like an airliner would, but not at 35,000 feet. This thing is, you can watch it coming over. You can watch it coming over the horizon. You can see it. It comes over the tree. It's still, like I said, maybe 2,000, 3,000 feet up. And because I'm thinking of like the size of when you're on an airplane and you're looking down on the ground. It's the same. It's like the inverse size. So it's like maybe 30 seconds into a flight, like that height. And when we watch this thing, and I swear it's not even like it's kind of quiet. Like maybe like a plane where the engines just stopped. It's literally just, it's nothing. All you hear is like the whatever bird is in Georgia at night, like the ooh like an owl, or like you hear like the zzz, like the bugs, and we're just
and the cicadas and I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it just lights. Yeah, and then it goes right over the tree. So we run back into the house, look up. There's nothing over the horizon. And Chance and I look at each other. I go, Chance, no one's going to ever fucking believe us. And he goes, I'm not telling the story to anyone. And I go, I'm glad you saw it. And he goes, I'm glad you saw it. And we fucking high-fived. I have never told that story since. I have not talked to Chance since college. That is what happened. I've purposely never told that story. Because there's one thing if you can say, like, I believe in UFOs because it's fun. It's a fun idea. But you step into a whole nother tier of like, oh, look at that guy. You know, if you say you've seen it. But, exactly. And now I'm very open to the idea that it was something military. I'm not going, it was aliens. It could have very well just been some badass fucking whatever, you know? I mean, shit, a year prior, Operation Neptune Spear, when we took out Bin Laden, shit, they used that like silent Black Hawk
stealth helicopter. Yeah.
How do I, you know? And so I'm just, even then I remember thinking, okay, maybe that's just because rational brain. I'm trying to go. In all reality, what was it? Like, okay, like Chance saw it, I saw it. This thing is ridiculous, but it did not make a noise. We saw it. It was big enough that we could just kind of almost rounded diamond shape, not a noise. So I'm open to, so like I know what I saw. Like I saw that. What that is, I'm completely open to there being a terrestrial explanation. I lean towards it more. I mean, Athens, Georgia, you're not that far from the boondocks. I mean, shit, if you can't access Area 51 or you don't have Area 51, like, you know, North Georgia might not be a bad place to fly shit around. You know, again, who are you gonna believe, Joe Sixpack? Like, but that's why I grabbed Chance, and but the thing is like, I know Chance would give the exact same story that I just gave. If he didn't see this, probably hasn't. If you were to find Chance and ask him, he would explain it like, yeah, it was just no noise. Yeah, man, don't fucking know. Big old fucking thing just went around. It was just like, that's what it was. So,
yeah, and I'm not saying that like you have zero credibility, but you at least have someone to corroborate your fucking story.
Yes, and that's why this is before I'd ever heard of like Bob Lazar or anyone. I just remember thinking in general, like I was like, this is some, you know, it's like when you see like you work security at a bar and you see a girl like, you know, trying to shit into a Solo cup or something at the end of the night. She's so drunk and you're just like, hey dude, check it out. Like, no one's gonna believe this. Like, you see it? Like, you see it too. Okay, it's like that. But it was just, instead of a sorority girl shitting in a Solo cup, it was this black thing that not only made no noise, went from the brightest bright I'd ever seen to almost void of light, and no noise. It was big enough that maybe it could have been the size of a helicopter and only 100 feet above me. But there was no atmospheric hazing. You know, even on a sunny day, you see an airliner 5 miles up. It's got that slight, almost whitish tint. Because it's just, you're looking through 5 miles of air. Right, all the dust. There was no, you know, and maybe, okay, it was at night, so there's no light. You know, now we're on the Earth and the sun's fallen over. So maybe you could argue there's no light lighting up all the particles in the air, and that's why there's no hate. I don't know. But it was a clear day. Everything I just explained. I just so happened to be in a unique situation where I knew what that patch of sky looked like, and I had someone corroborate it. It's just, I mean, obviously it's our word against whoever says not. So it's, you can't. There's no way you could back it up.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, what I did see that. What it is, I have no idea.
Right.
I think I can rule out dual hallucination. I mean, we're two different people with two different biochemistries, two different we're not on the same medication. I don't know. Maybe you could look up, maybe you could find a similar account from spring 2012 in Athens, Georgia. I don't know. But
quite possibly. Yeah. I mean, why? I'd have to assume that you wouldn't be granted, with your meditation, you looking at the same window, like it's kind of like it was, it's a weird circumstance that you were able to even, point it out.
Yeah. And mind you, it's also Athens, Georgia. I think it was on like a Friday. So that's Athens, Georgia, where it's a college town where
everybody's out,
fucked up on multiple drugs. But mind you, I'm someone that I would only drink at the end of the because I was a fucking pre-med psychopath. So I'm someone that not only was I not hungover at that point, I probably hadn't drank for 15 weeks. You know, didn't smoke. It was not on any meds. This is 2 years before John passed. Wasn't on any antidepressants. Nothing. It's it's. I don't know. I don't know. It's
That's fucking crazy though.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I've never told that story. But I remember thinking about it and being like, I have to remember exactly what this was because I don't want like my memory to distort the story as years go on. And I remember I was like, it's the stars and everything, and bright, not bright. And then I was like, yeah, it was really just. Even that night, I was like, Chance, what shape was that? He was like, you know, kind of like a poorly drawn diamond almost. Just like, yeah, like, that's what, and it was just one of those things where it's like, but you saw that? Made no noise. What was that? I don't know what that was. Like, but you saw it? I saw it. Like, I don't know what it is, but there was no denying that we saw it. And it was just, I remember us laughing because, like I said, they said, no one's going to believe this. And I'm not telling it. And I don't know if Chance has told the story, but now here I am almost 8 years later. First time I've told the story. So it's not even like I saw a fucking UFO. No, dude. I'm very hesitant to tell it because I fucking hate I hate everything that's insinuated with it. And
there's a stigma with it.
And I'm already fucking nuts enough. Okay, I don't need to be giving anybody more ammo. I already hand people my sanity on a platter. Like I don't need to be saying that here's the gasoline now. Here, do you want a match? Here's a UFO story. Like you know, it's so. But yeah, but I never even I texted John, but I never told John any more about it afterwards. And if anyone would be able to talk, on air, but I didn't because I just remember thinking, it's too stupid. It's too nuts.
I mean, like, what are you gonna? I don't know. Man.
What am I? What's the point of telling it? Like,
are you gonna feed into the stigma, right, and become one of those people like where this is your life's obsession now, and like then you actually turn into the all right, Tommy. Yeah,
or am I gonna shut up and keep studying and try to get into med school? Like, do I want that? No, but seriously, like, what am I gonna do? Make a Facebook post about it? No, I'm trying to get into med school. I don't maybe I'm seeing like, well, he's a pretty good guy. He did well on the MCAT. You seen a UFO? It's already competitive enough. Like, that's what I was just like. What do I get out of this? What am I gonna do? Some citizen investigation. I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. No.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, like, your story is, a sea of stories, that might be made up or whatever, over exaggerated. I mean, so it's like it's white noise at that point, and I'm not saying that to invalidate your story because I believe your story. I don't know what it is, but I believe that you're telling a true story. And I mean, like, it's just you hear so much. Like I said, that stigma with Joe Sixpack. It's like it really does cast a pretty big shadow on everybody. It's like if you bring this up, like, do I want to trust you with diving into this corner of my mind for a second? Like I mean, and I've been asked before, like, well, and I've just said no because I was just like, I don't. As much as I love UFOs, like, I don't want to even, I don't want to even dance in there. But well, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've seen one too, like I said, I don't want to say that it was for sure a UFO, but it was a very strange happening that I experienced. So,
well, let's take a time out right there and let me go to the bathroom. Because I want to hear the story with my full attention.
I'll do the same.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. I don't care if you leave it or not.
Oh, no. Someone mentioned, they're like, dude, instead of taking piss breaks, why don't you just edit it out? And I was like, that's a good point. Because I don't do it live. I don't do it live so I can edit it. Why don't I just edit that out? And I was like,
yeah, it's true.
I was like, that's some big brain power you got there. Touche. So yeah, I'm just gonna splice it out. Yeah. So you said that you've seen something.
I have. Mine is pretty par for the course, though. It's not as intricate. And I'd say your story is actually pretty compelling, man. I mean, being able to decipher something over the horizon out of a window that you look out and meditate on. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Like I said, unique. I mean, each house I lived in college, I always meditated looking out. So, I mean, through couple different apartments, I just so happen to know what the sky, or with one of them is at the woods. Like I just, over a year, multiple times a day, you start to recognize certain trees. You start to recognize, absolutely. I know a squirrel always good. Yeah, so it just so, and again, there's really no one you can tell that story too quickly. So I memorized this part of the sky. Why did I do it? Because I'd meditate multiple times a day. Why? Because I was a fucking psycho studying organic chemistry. No, don't run away. Come back.
Don't run away.
Yeah. No, trust me.
Why are you rolling your eyes at me?
You're not even hearing the end of the story. No, it's about UFOs. No, come back. It's like there's no.
And that's pretty much how it would go.
Yeah. So,
but mine.
Yeah.
Mine is. Where the fuck was I? I wasn't in Roswell, man, but this is when I was stationed in New Mexico, and I was driving. Jesus. I want to say I was driving home from Lubbock, Texas. Lubbock, Texas was about 2 hours east of where I was living, and I went there to get fitted for a tuxedo. I can't remember whose wedding I was going to, but anyways, I'm driving back, and it's clear skies, and I mean, there's nothing, like any direction from where I lived, Clovis, New Mexico. If you were to drive in any direction, you got 2 hours of absolutely nothing to look at. And so I'm driving back from Lubbock, Texas, and I'm just like looking up in the sky, like looking out the window because there's nothing else to look at. And I noticed this little glimmer like coming out on my windshield. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I look at it and I'm like, oh, it's an aircraft, and I'm sitting here driving, like going 65 miles per hour on this road. I'm like, not paying attention to the road, not being a good driver. Yeah. And the more I'm looking at it, I'm like, that thing's staying in place. Like I'm moving and that thing's constantly staying in the same patch of sky. Like it's not like there's no contrails, from it. There's nothing. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm just sitting there and I'm looking at it. I'm like, is it something on my windshield? And I'm like putting my finger on the windshield to see. I was like, no, because there it is now. Like it's staying over there as I'm moving this way. It's staying like in that same patch of sky. I was like, and it moved past like where I put my finger and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is that, man? I stopped the car. I'm like, fuck this. I'm getting out. And like I catch, like a couple of shimmers, like the sun's reflecting on it and shit. And I step out of the car. I pull it off to the side, step out of the car. I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm just watching. I'm like, it is just sitting there. Like, it's not a star. It's not anything, like it's just sitting there. And I go back into my car to get my phone and I'm about to record like video of it. And as I get my phone, I'm working, get the camera up. I'm still watching it. It's still fucking there. And then it just zips like out of the sky. And like no sound, no like, sound barrier break or anything. Just gone, just fucking gone. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? What the hell was that?
But no, you said it perfectly. For me, the experience wasn't like, oh my God, there's you. It's just something that all of a sudden, like all logic and knowledge of shit just kind of goes, wait, huh?
Like I mean, like UFO doesn't necessarily, UFO stands for unidentified flying object.
It could very well be. I mean, it could be anything.
It doesn't have to be aliens,
Yeah.
But I mean, I just saw this thing. I was like, no one was with me too. I'm just, who the fuck am I going to tell? Like, and I've told some people before, and they're like, you sure it wasn't a plane? I'm like, dude, I've seen planes before. I've seen planes like up at like 35,000 feet. Like you can tell because they're just a speck.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can even see the contrails of a plane moving at 35,000 feet. Like this thing had no contrails. It was remaining in the same patch of sky the entire time I was watching it. I was probably watching it for a good 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oops. Hi, dog.
Yeah,
my dog's right here.
Yeah,
it's and I'm just like, there's no explaining it. Like it's hard, like because I couldn't from that where it was. It really was just like the only reason why I caught it was because the sun reflected on it and like went on my windshield. I was like, what the fuck? But at that height, I couldn't tell you what the shape it was or anything like that. None of the specific details. All I could tell you was the sun was reflecting on it, and it was literally hovering in the same patch of sky. And as soon as I was about to record the fucking thing, it zipped out of existence. Like, I'm talking.
Did it go left, right, away, towards?
it went like away and onto like the horizon. So like I'm standing here, you know, it's like right here, and it went that way. I was just like, what the fuck? And it was gone in a flash. Like, and like I said, you didn't hear a sonic boom of this thing taking off. It just zipped on right the fuck by. So I don't know, man. Like, they say that a lot of people see a lot of different shit too in like New Mexico, and like New Mexico is constantly, ever since, you know, the crash in 1940s or whatnot, it has been like, there's like agencies that are like set up to deal with this shit, and mostly, you know, you go on their websites, it's all the same crap. Like it's Jane and Joe Sixpack, you know, I saw me a goddamn alien outside.
I saw it, and I was right there, and I done, and it's. But I think the important thing is you described it perfectly. I just thought of this like analogy. It'd be like if you were just walking home from work and you like turned a corner and just right in the middle of the road, 15 feet up, was just like a upside down floating piano.
Right.
It's just something that it's not necessarily like, whoa, but you're just like, it's like dividing by zero, or it's like you wake up from a dream. It's also, it's just like, literally, it's like record scratch. It's like everything. You're probably wondering what I'm seeing, but no, but it is. You like look at it and you're like, you quickly like cycle through like a couple like explanations, and you literally like red light comes on, like ding, like we don't have an answer. You're just and you just stare at it, and that's what you're transfixed. You're just like, I'm looking at this like this thing that's defying logic, and your first thoughts are almost like, no one's gonna believe me, and you're looking at it and you're like, but I'm looking at this, and then the phenomena no longer exists, and it's so magnificent and interrupting to your just sort of daily life that it's the one thing you want to talk about. But on the same side on the other side of the coin, it's the last thing you ever wanted to have pinned to you. So like, you just saw Jesus, but you know no one's gonna believe you. It's like, he's right there. He literally just fucking, you know, threw you a candy bar and said, "Sup, bro?" And then he clapped his hands and disappeared into smoke. And you're going, like, I want to talk about this more than anything in the world, and I also never want to speak of it. And it's, it's frustrating. That's what it is. It's
it's weird too, is that you know, there's so many. I've always said this, and you know, I'm like, I'm still pretty. I don't want to say I'm a religious guy, because I don't really practice the Catholic faith.
Yeah, no, you have faith. You're more...
I have faith, and like it always came from the fact when I realized, like, man, Catholicism is just another. It's just another form of politics. Like, it's a form. It's a means to control people and how we think.
It's another game.
And act.
Yeah.
And you know, like, if I'm not mistaken, I had a couple religion classes at St. Pius that were like, oh yeah, if you believe in aliens, you know, like, you're not practicing Catholicism. I'm like, what the fuck now? Like, it's like, that's so asinine, man. To say that. Like, I get it. Like, the whole premise is God made this big, wonderful universe for us and us only. I was like, and maybe that is so. Like, maybe it's the fact that he made us in his image, and like all these other things are just, you know, natural beings or whatever the fuck. I don't know what you want to call it. I don't know. I'm not trying to get spiritual here, but I'm just simply saying, like, that's so fucking stupid, man. Like, scientifically speaking, the odds of life being out there, like, in the vast fucking space, you know, it's insane. Like, the amount of life that could be out there.
Yeah.
So, now, I mean, whether or not they're fucking capable of the same things we are, that's a whole nother discussion. But with these fucking UFOs and shit, I'm just like, I believe it, man. Like, I'm sure that there probably is shit out there.
Yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely. I always think of like the one, and obviously not as a physicist, because I am not, but when it always comes up that like the barrier, the speed of light, how are they going to get here? You're right. I don't have an answer for that, but I always think like, remember when we all thought the Earth was flat? Remember when we were scared that going through the sound barrier would destroy you, and then Chuck Yeager did it, and it just made a big bang. Like,
Chuck Yeager is so fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, I know. Remember when we fucking put guys on the moon? Like, remember when, like, we've done this shit, and it's crazy, and then we do it. And even now, like instantaneous electron entanglement, where we can see two things moving at the same time, and there is no speed of light barrier. It can be a mile away, it can be a million miles away, and they move at the same time. So that right there is a violation of what we perceive to be the cosmic speed limit. So I'm not saying that like I understand what it could be, but the idea that there isn't a way around what we perceive to be the only barrier, you know, it'd be like well, the British Navy is going to be the strongest force in existence because what are you going to do? Fly over the horizon? Ships can't fly, buddy. And it's well, if you completely negate that possibility that 500 years in the future air power will reign supreme, well, if you're automatically saying that cannot be, well then sure, you can keep your image and model of reality. But to think that, not even to think, but to ignore the fact that we have been certain that things are the way they are, and then shattered that perception so many times that, I mean, literally, what the line Men in Black, 1,000 years ago, you knew the world was flat, you know? 100 years ago, you knew that this was the Asian continent. 50 years ago, you knew there was no UFO, and yesterday, you knew you were alone in the world. What will you know tomorrow? But it is well, we knew the world was flat. We knew that the sun rotated around or orbited around the Earth. You know, we knew that we could never send shit at the speed of light. We knew that there would never be a heavier than air craft. We knew that you can't put a man on the moon. We knew you could never land rockets upright. We'll never know. And to think that we know for a fact that there is a cosmic speed limit. Yeah, that is, it seems to be that way, and I'm not proposing any way around it. But to think, to just unanimously say aliens cannot visit us because of that. Well, if that's the only card you have to deny, because like no one denies the existence of life. Any astrophysicist will be like, there's got to be something out there. So if the only thing standing between that and them being here is the cosmic speed limit, so you're saying that the only thing that is holding up this entire idea that there can be nothing here is something that could be as arbitrary as finding out the Earth is round.
Right, yeah.
To me, that's fucking stupid.
It's absolutely insane. Yeah. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people before, and I can't remember what specifically we're talking about, but it was a buddy of mine in the Air Force, and he was like, oh, you know, like in the realms of science, you know, like it can't happen. I was like, you understand that our realm of science is very minuscule. Like it's only based on what we know to be true.
Keep talking. Turn on the fan.
Go for it. But like, man, I really wish I knew the context that I had this conversation, but we were talking about like the periodic table of elements. I'm like, dude, you know, like elements have been added to this thing. Yeah. Like they weren't just all fucking like no one handed us the periodic table and was like, here's all the elements, there you go. Like no, we had to fucking discover and like find out a way to put them in the specific order that they I was like, and we've added since then. Like I think we've added in the last like 15 years, we've added a couple of elements that we discovered.
Every couple of years.
Right. And so it's just like, dude, you can't imagine. You mean to tell me that everything that's within the known universe that we fucking, like, even in the Milky Way galaxy, for fucking instance, everything that we know as far as science, like, that's it? That's fucking it.
Yeah, that's just...
It's like, because then there's no room for expansion. Like...
we used to think that there was only one galaxy. Like, after we found out the Earth wasn't flat, and we still believed that the sun orbited us, and then we realized there were other stars, and we orbited one, and then we realized we were in a galaxy. Despite all those, like, steps of realizing we were wrong, when we got to the concept of the galactic structure, we then said, well, there's only one galaxy. Never once going, hey, maybe we're wrong about this one, and now we know that there are hundreds of trillions of galaxies. So and that whole thing happening, it is now happening again. Nothing can go faster than the speed of light. There's no way around it. Not that we know. Yes, I'm not going to say that. Oh, well, it's an alien drive, because that's a cop out. No, I don't know what the answer is, but to say that we got it figured out,
right? Because we don't.
We're these shitting, pissing meat bags. Like, what are we getting? What's a threat right now? Coronavirus. This microscopic little fucking thing. We can still die from shit that we sneeze on each other. Forget our nukes. Forget our relocation arcs and nuclear bunkers. No. that could kill us all. And we think that
I had that conversation with somebody the other night, man. They were talking about like, oh man, the media is trying to drum up a narrative and stuff. I was like, dude, don't get me wrong, because I'm one of the people that totally calls out the media when they're trying to drum up a narrative and get people panicked and whatnot. I was like, but this is like, if you know anything, and I'm not a virologist of any means, but I've looked into the coronavirus. I'm like, why is this such a big fucking deal?
That's because the dormancy.
It's like, because it's a brand new fucking strain of coronavirus that no one has ever fucking seen.
It also doesn't manifest symptoms for a while, so it's not like I get it.
Yeah, it's got a 2-week incubation period.
You say, hey, Tommy, stay home from work. You're sick. No, by the time I'm sick, I've already been walking around for 2 weeks.
Right, and you've been exposing other people to it.
Yes.
And everybody's like, well, this will fade out, man. It's just like, Zika virus and whatever, I'm like, granted, I was really skeptical because it seemed like every year they were trying to drum up like, oh man, Ebola. I remember when Ebola was a big thing, like that plane landed in Colorado and I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me, dude. And I had just moved out to Colorado. I was like, now we got Ebola out here. Fuck me. But it's just, I'm the first one to be skeptical about, stories like that, like being pushed and people trying to get scared. But now, it seems like they kind of stepped away, and it makes me curious. I'm like, why did you step away from it?
What's very curious is that, have you noticed that now because of this big hazard, it's very unsafe to protest in Hong Kong?
Right.
What the really? No one's this big thing in China didn't want a Tiananmen Square Part 2, and what do you know? Coronavirus.
How fucking convenient. Yeah. And I mean, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that this was built in a lab or whatever. But I'm not denying the possibility either. So, but everyone's talking about, coronavirus, and it's no big deal. I'm like, I mean, it kind of is a big deal. The entire world is suspect to the fucking flu, and the coronavirus is, granted, it's not a big margin, but it already has a 2% mortality rate. The flu has less than a percentage of a mortality rate. So this thing's deadlier than the flu. It seems like it's more contagious than the flu. And the shitty thing is you're walking around with it for 2 fucking weeks without knowing it before you even start feeling symptoms.
Yeah.
So Jay, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Get the fuck out of here.
Jay's trying to get woke. Don't stop his growth. Okay? Jay, buckle up, buddy. But so here's a comment that I screenshotted. Granted, it's from Reddit. There's no backing behind it. But I thought the idea was neat, so I'm going to read it. It's 3 paragraphs.
Go for it.
Fuck off. It's my podcast. I can do whatever I want. Whoever's listening.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you.
Whoever's listening. Tommy, I don't like it. Eat a dick. All right? We went from UFOs to coronavirus, right? We're not trying to wrap this fucker up in any neat structure. All right. So from Reddit user Richard C 39243. It seems like people are missing the elephant in the room. The coronavirus was created by... This is obviously his idea. It seems like people are missing the elephant in the room. The coronavirus was created by the U.S. government in hopes of isolating China, economically crippling them, and helping Trump win his trade war. The virus was released near a disease research center in China to make it look like it was accidentally released. The next step would be for China to cease all flights the next step would be for America to cease all flights into and out of China, and to encourage all other countries to do the same out of concern for containing the spread of this new virus. The next step after that would be for America to cease all imports from China under the guise of concern that the virus can spread through physical goods, and to encourage all other countries to do the same. Again, while that's going on, a propaganda campaign on Western social media spreads the rumor that Chinese weapons researcher accidentally released the virus. Those dirty bastards. A simultaneous propaganda campaign conducted on Chinese social media to spread the same rumor with the goal of sowing distrust amongst the Chinese people towards the Chinese government and encouraging them to direct their anger towards them, releasing it so there can be no Hong Kong. They're going to be in a doubly bad mood, with their economy now in a downswing. Earlier reports by state-owned media downplaying the initial outbreak is portrayed as evidence of guilt, which the Chinese always are, as well as is all current and future denials of the rumor. Use the same dissident front groups hired to destabilize and undermine China who are currently spreading the propaganda on social media about Hong Kong, the Uyghurs, Tibet, organ harvesting, concentration camps, Falun Gong, Epic Times. It's all containing the rise of China. I mean, we're basically Tonya Harding out to whack Nancy Kerrigan in the knee. crazy, batshit insane, but
I could see it happening.
the intelligence communities operate in a way. That's why they're called the intelligence communities. It's because they don't.
1 second, I'm sorry.
You need to kill your dog?
He's just being obnoxious, man. He's like trying to.
No, he's trying to get woke. You're being the government, man. But no, it's. But I was bringing it up. I'm like, that's why they're called the intelligence communities, because they fucking do shit in ways that we didn't think of before. We have our nukes, we have our bombers, our drones, our submarines, our boots on the ground. Those aren't the only ways in which we wage war. And I don't just mean there's also chemical and biological warfare. No, there's economic warfare. There's all sorts of sabotage. There's
psychological warfare.
Yes,
all that shit.
It's we used to do. Do you know? We found out that in the 80s under Reagan, the CIA found out, and this is in the book The Dead Hand by, I think I don't remember who it is by. It's not Ellsberg. It's The Dead Hand. It was a New York Times bestseller. And they talk about how we found out that the Soviets were buying shit from these Canadian manufacturers. Nothing military, but it was like oil refinery stuff, oil pipelines, communication stuff, railroad technology, stuff to bolster their economy so that they could, keep up with the Cold War spending. Again, a different type of war. The CIA found out about this. We went in, Canada, I don't know how that conversation went. Either as, hey, we're buddies, or as, hey, we're fucking America, we're the big dick. But we came in and we said, keep selling everything to them. But we are going to go in and we're going to very specifically go in and sabotage things slightly. Not totally, so they're broken, but enough so that shit gets fucked up. So they then would go to Russia or the Soviet Union, and some of the examples they gave were trains going on tracks, and then all of a sudden, the specs that they had, it can carry this much weight, it only goes this. Turns out that, those are the accurate specs of what they normally produce, but for these ones going to the Soviets, we fucked everything up. So now you got these trains getting derailed. Again, it's not a nuke, but it's slowly crippling the Soviet economy. Another thing we did was what was it? Was it oil refineries? It was something. It was like separating natural gas from whatever fucking shit we get out of the ground. But it was kind of like what we did with the Stuxnet virus in Iran in the early 2000s, where we went in and we literally hijacked their nuclear centrifuges and we had them spin out of control and destroy all the shit. That's what we were doing in the 80s in the Soviet Union. There's of oil refineries exploding. The largest non-nuclear explosion captured by satellite was from one of these things. It was in northern Russia. One of their oil refineries fucking went up in like 88. And
wow.
Yeah, and they thought it was a nuclear flash. They thought,
God.
The U.S. thought it was a nuclear flash, and literally someone from the CIA had to come in and be like, no, it's, sit down. We got something to tell you guys. We've been doing this new thing. But, so it's not just like the technology of doing it, because that's not necessarily technologically crazy, but you have to think outside the box, and that's how we conduct war, because it's not politically acceptable to just march on in anymore and bomb the shit.
No, it's not.
So why wouldn't we do something like that?
Because we're civilized.
Exactly. Yeah, and asterisk. But it's
asterisk.
Yeah, until further notice. Conditions and conditions and applicants may buy, but conditions may vary. But you gotta read the fine print. But the fact that we do that and have done that, why wouldn't we do something like that? I mean, and the way I always think is like, if I can come up with this idea, or someone on Reddit can, and it seems very intricate, maybe it is. But I can guarantee you we're not as smart as the people at the CIA or the NRO. Anything we can think of, they can think of.
Right.
So if you can think of, hey, what's the first thing we conclude? Coronavirus, Hong Kong. Isn't that a coincidence?
Oh, yeah.
You don't think someone in the intelligence community has thought of that? And they didn't think one step further and say, everyone's going to think it's a coincidence. We are. China's the baby in the cradle that we got to smother before it gets too big.
Right, yeah.
Why don't we go release this thing? Fuck it. Let's release it right near a biological plant. Like, all right, yeah. If we can think of that, they can think of that.
Who's see, and I think we talked about this last time, like all these stories that are being made, like conspiracy movies and stuff like that. It's like, oh, you're fucking crazy, conspiracy, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But then they turn out to be true. I'm like, you can't tell me that there aren't people in higher positions of power with more means to do so to pull off some of this shit.
Yeah.
Like you can't because people sit around here and make stories out of it, and then they make them into movies and books and everything, and everybody fucking laughs it up.
Yeah.
Like, so. But I heard about, I was thinking about the whole Hong Kong thing too, because I saw a video from one of the guys that I watch on YouTube. I forget which guy it was. Anyways, he's talking about like how the 50-year anniversary of Tiananmen Square. I can't remember it was like a big anniversary for Tiananmen Square was coming up. He's like, imagine how bad that's going to look on China if they can't rein in Hong Kong. Yeah. I was like, so then I saw this video last night, like, it didn't dive into conspiracy theories, and he didn't say like this is outright like true, and he did say like this is completely speculative. He's like, however, I think it has some validity to it. And he was talking about like perhaps like they were working on this coronavirus and they released it in the hopes, well, they accidentally released it, but they were planning on doing so in Hong Kong to stifle the fucking protests that are still fucking going on, that the media has kind of like shied away from reporting on it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, dude, I don't put it past anybody. I don't put it past, like, I'm not one of these people that believes that the government has our best interest at heart. Like,
no.
I would hope that they would, especially like when it comes to America. I would hope that the American government does have our best interest at heart. But, who can be fucking, I'm not like wide-eyed, like, oh, yeah, absolutely.
Uncle
yeah,
Sam's
no, I trust you guys fully and completely.
No,
like, no, I do not. Like,
back to Raven Rock. The plan for the U.S. government to save themselves while the rest of us die.
While the rest of us burn.
Yeah, but that's what it is. I don't put anything past it. I don't put anything. And to think that, well, yeah, so not only is it going to look bad if China can't rein in Hong Kong, it's also going to look bad if they do rein it in with the same military boot of Tiananmen Square.
Right.
So you got to rein it in, and you got to rein it in without violence.
Good luck.
Oh, there's a virus, and I don't put it past the U.S. because that would work. Perfect cover story. The Chinese, because the Chinese they do enough shit that you don't need to make up anything. So if you can just create the coronavirus and throw it right next to Hong Kong, go, it's probably the Chinese government. Isn't that awfully fucking convenient for us when we're like, hey, rest of the world, just throwing it out there. Maybe we should all stop flying shit in and out of there, including imports, like, including goods and services.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Why the fuck not? Those implications though, like, talk about world economy implication, and that is economic warfare right fucking there.
Absolutely,
like the amount of money that goes into China and like as far as imports and exports is astronomical. Like the entire world market is based on it. So
and not a bullet fired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and you didn't need to wave a flag. You didn't need to have any war justification.
Yeah. Because, if anything, sanctions, with Iran has proven that don't fucking work. Like, they're going to keep doing whatever the fuck they want. You got
to use the Colt. You got to use the big hard dick of a Hellfire missile. Yeah. But we can do that to Iran. We can wipe out General Salami on a highway in Afghanistan. You don't really want to do that with China. I think we could beat China, but it's at what cost? You'd beat China, but we would all be... Maybe we would have more people in government bunkers.
God damn, dude, their fucking military numbers are massive. Like, it's daunting.
Exactly.
And we have being in the intelligence services and stuff. I shouldn't even say that. I was Department of Defense, which is not an intelligence service. I just worked intelligence in Department of Defense. Yeah. But we had videos that you can't find online and stuff. And one was we had videos up so that our screens wouldn't lock us out, in the middle of doing live mission feed and whatnot. So in the background, we'd have this video playing on Windows Media Player. And one of them was Chinese, like, training, like special forces training. Some of the shit that these fucking guys are doing, I'm talking like jumping and doing like somersaults and, back gainers and whatnot, and throwing a fucking knife and a goddamn bullseye, and getting a bullseye. I'm like, yeah, no, we're not fighting that shit. Like,
no,
like,
not
full on war with China.
Not conventionally.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because America doesn't back the fuck down. So if we're not doing it tit for tat in the conventional way, we don't have enough B-52s. We don't have enough aircraft carriers. You think that we're just not doing it in a different way. You know,
Right,
when we found out the Nazis were fucking enriching uranium, we didn't just go, well, I hope they don't do it. No, fucking Roosevelt said, do it first and wipe them out. Smother them in the grave. And you know what?
Project Paperclip, we're going to try to get all those Nazi engineers and scientists on our side for when the Cold War comes.
Yeah, but they're Nazis. If we don't have them, if we have them, we know Russia doesn't have them. Like that's,
exactly.
Like there is nothing that's off the table. Like it is cutthroat at its purest form when it comes to superpowers. Mm-hmm. It is. In whatever means it is, not just bombs and guns, economic. I mean, think of cyber warfare.
Oh yeah.
Think of what China does with just getting plans for their J-35 fighter. Like, we are at war 24/7, not in the conventional way. And if you want to, you don't want to go pull a General Salami and go ice one of their guys with a Hellfire. You can do that. You can do that to the Middle Eastern countries. You can wave your dick around. We could probably do it to Mexico. Probably do it to Canada too.
Yeah.
You know, we could get away with it. Would it be cool? The more modern and closer to first world the countries get, and the less brown they are, the world tends to get angry when America goes in there and drops shit.
Right. Yeah.
If you don't want to do that to China, you don't want to do it to Russia. You don't want to do it to China. You're not going to. They're not going to.
I mean, shit, we don't want to fucking do it to North Korea either. I mean,
exactly.
But it goes back to what you said, like, at what cost? Like, ultimately, like, if we were to start a war with North Korea, I think we could fucking win. All we have to do is bomb the shit out of them. However, like, the reason why we don't, and a lot of people don't fucking know, I see this all the time, like, we should just drop a fucking nuke. I'm like, no, we fucking should. Don't be stupid.
You get one through the net. You get one nuke out.
You get one. Everybody else reason to fucking unload theirs for any goddamn reason.
Yeah.
But the reason why we don't go to war with North Korea is because they've ran through test scenarios. Like, there is no scenario where Seoul, South Korea, like, isn't wiped off the fucking map.
They have all those artillery pointed right at them. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And then to go further on that note, and if you think that we've just said, oh, well, I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles. No. Right, if we haven't played out a certain way, well, how come we haven't just nuked them? It's because we've realized that it's not a good outcome, but you better goddamn realize they went right back to the drawing boards and said, all right, well, how can we take them out? Mm-hmm. If you don't think, it's
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's fucking crazy though, man. Like, there's so much shit going on in the world. Like, I don't know. I've always been of the mindset, like, I would love to get old and gray and, like, have grandkids that are running around and, like, climbing on my legs and whatnot and asking me my war stories and shit. And me being an old, senile, decrepit old man and flipping people the bird, walking outside in my underwear, not giving a fuck. But, like, I don't know, man. Like, there's just so much shit that's going on. Like you said, the world's become, as technology has expanded, like, our world's become smaller and smaller. And, like, people are just constantly, at each other. And like you said, it is, as far as politics and stuff, it is cutthroat, man. It is fucking, with world powers, it is, the weak get eaten, pretty much.
Yes, there is no, any altruism. If you see altruism, it's because it's serving a different purpose. That's why
I'm not a liberal.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest.
Hey, man.
Is your jacket a Blink-182 jacket?
It is.
Yeah, I caught a glimpse of it. I was like, oh shit.
Goddamn right, it is.
Yeah.
Fucking jack off. All right, man. Well, I don't want to keep you. I can keep going. I don't want to keep you.
I can keep going. Dude, like I said, like, last time you had to poop and everything, like, I'm good right now. I don't have to leave. Like, I'm trying to leave at, like, 5:30-ish.
All right. Well, do you care if I pee again? And
how about it? All right, we'll do the same.
Okay. I hope you don't think I'm was trying to kick you off. I can talk forever, and sometimes I'm talking to people and I'll be like,
I didn't want you to think like the last time my schedule was way the fuck off. I had just
we were
switched to
both
night
off
shift.
last time, yeah.
Yeah, I had just switched to night shift too, and I think it was at the end of my shift. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay up and I'm gonna drink some coffee.
Oh Jesus, you did that?
Yeah, and then like I shared the podcast with a couple friends of mine. They're like, JP, you look tired as fuck. I'm like, it's probably because I was tired as shit.
Yeah. And I remember I felt like shit.
Yeah.
But no, I have people on sometimes, and I'll kind of notice them talking less, and I'll be like, I think they don't want to be rude, so I try to give them out. I'm like, we can finish if you want, but now, for anyone listening, for any future guests, no, I can always keep talking.
Yeah. Same.
Except for the one yesterday that I stopped because I had a headache, but I'm open about that. I told the guy, I was like, I need to stop. I have a headache.
Yeah. I just got a snack too. I hope you don't mind me eating. I'm like, oh shit. That's some raisins.
I just took an ibuprofen because my back hurts.
And this fucking weather down here, dude, has been erratic as shit, and it's fucking with my allergies so bad.
Fuck it. Let's go down this road. Weather warfare.
Okay.
Fuck
weather manipulation?
Yeah. Fuck it. I'll walk down that road with you.
What is it, Project Heart Machine?
Yes, high altitude.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is we had another HARP, HARP, not HAARP.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one was high altitude research projectiles, and it was to see in like the 70s or 80s if we could shoot artillery into space and use that as a economical way to put shit into orbit. Spoiler, it didn't work, but the guy who what was his name? It was oh fuck, I can't remember his name. It's I'll find it. But so he was developing these huge fucking artillery guns, and he was I think he was Canadian, and he had a bunch of U.S. government contracts, and eventually they kind of told him to like he just kind of went farther and farther down the artillery road. He wasn't changing with the times. He was like, no, you got to go bigger and better. And but his thing was he didn't create these new expensive systems. His true genius was that he could take existing systems and sort of cannibalize them and hybridize them. So very economical.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter for the U.S. where we're just throwing money at shit. But for someone like, I don't know, Saddam Hussein, who was like, well, I can't get these bombers, or, you know, my missiles are always shot down. You can't really shoot down artillery. Maybe with like the Iron Dome, but early 90s now. So this guy was going to go over, went over and talked to Saddam, and Saddam was going to, and worked for Saddam because Saddam was going to have these two massive artillery systems that he was literally going to point east and west and dominate the Middle East. And this guy was happy because he was finally going to do his lifelong dream of building like the ultimate monster artillery. Now this isn't some like Schwerer Gustav, the railroad artillery gun made by the Germans in World War II by Krupp.
The big massive one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big railroad gun, and it could shoot something, I think 47 miles.
Yeah.
There was
insane.
I didn't know there was actually one that shot something farther from World War One. You would think it'd be reversed. The Paris gun, the projectile was smaller, but it could shoot 81 miles. This guy wanted to build something that could shoot 5,500 kilometers. So whatever that is in freedom units. He wanted something. He described it as he wanted it to be able to be shot from. You could put it in New York and you could hit London with artillery. So imagine transatlantic artillery.
Yeah, that'd be ridiculous.
And America said, like, okay, it works, but like we have bombers on all these islands over in the Pacific. We have bases. We don't need it. We don't need this huge fucking thing. It doesn't matter how cool it is. It's not. We can buy more other shit. Saddam, on the other hand, was like, ooh, evil mustache, like, I can do this. And so he was going to give this guy money, and this guy didn't give a fuck. This guy's an arms dealer. But he was just like, I have this dream for this thing I want to build. And the U.S. government told him to stop, and he said, I'm going to do it anyway. Well, who else came and had a meeting with him but the Mossad? And they said, hey, you're trying to equip this guy who has stated in as many words that he wants us in our race, who he considers vermin, to be gone.
Right.
And you want to give him a big boom boom stick because you think it's neat. Hey, we get it. You can't do that. And the reason why the Mossad wouldn't talk to him is because they realized that this guy had been fucked over by nations before. And he didn't want to be fucked over again. So he was a one-man show. Only he knew how this thing worked. Right? So that's good if you don't want anyone stealing your trade secrets. That's not so good if you are the only link that needs to be taken out.
Right. Yeah.
The Mossad, being a intelligence community, figured that out. And they literally brought him in. They said, you need to stop. They said, go home to your family. They said, grow old. Take your money. I want to say they might have even offered him something. But they said, go home. He said, I'm going to go back and keep working on it. He left the building where he was meeting with them. They tailed him in 2 cars. This was in Canada, where he lived at the time. They tailed him in 2 cars. He went to his apartment building, went up to the 9th floor, where he was shot 6 times in the back with a silencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that guy, he was the head of the HARP project, HARP. They wanted to be able to shoot shit into space, and but they couldn't reach it. They got pretty close, which is what's crazy. They got pretty close, but what they couldn't handle was the G forces. Because to get something, you got to think, you're shooting artillery. You don't have any burning. You don't have any propellant. It leaves the barrel, and the second after the explosion happens, it's slowing down. It is slowing down. It's like when people see a slow motion pitch and Barry Bonds hits it, and they're like, oh, and it's gaining speed. No, the second it is decelerating the second it leaves the bat. It is
shit. It's decelerating the second it leaves the pitcher's hand. For fuck's sake. Oh.
That's true.
But still, I mean, yeah, I didn't.
The point really, no. I thought I was like, point stands. To get something up, you get one fucking shot. You get one shot, and to do that, they said the G forces were going to be something like 20,000 Gs, and they're like, it wouldn't even matter if we got something into space. What useful satellite could survive that? Maybe we could get like a radio transceiver, built out of fucking the devil's dick that would work up there. But anything that's worth having, there's no spy satellite. I've never heard that saying before. I think I just made it up. But built like the devil's dick. I imagine that fucking cloven-hooved monster's got a fucking...
He's got to.
That thing's got to be carbon fiber with the weight
carbon fiber.
With the weight of a tungsten core. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's fuck everyone. This is my podcast. It stays. I will edit out the urine breaks, and I will not edit out Satan's piece. But yeah. But the thing that caught Saddam's eye was, shit, if you could shoot something up into space, well, then you can shoot something up that comes back down.
Right, yeah.
I don't have all this money. What I do have is a bunch of artillery pieces and a bunch of raw material and a bunch of dirty, dirty, dirty oil cash. So, he brought this guy over there, and the Mossad took him out. I'm going to try to find his name. Keep talking.
It kind of reminded me of
Gerald Bull. That's his name.
Gerald Bull.
Gerald Bull.
This was the guy who was shot 6 times.
Yeah, there's a document that it was on the History Channel. It was on Frontline.
So the last time that we did your podcast.
Soviet anthem intensifies.
Yeah.
No, dude, the guy said it yesterday too. He was like, man, I'll send out the link to our podcast. He's like, sorry, not ours. I was like, dude, we're doing it. It's our episode. Yes.
All right, good enough. But the last time we did this, I had 2 screens. So I have my laptop screen, then I have an additional screen on the right. And I brought up a web browser, and I don't know if you could hear me typing. The gain on this fucking microphone is pretty big, but I've been sitting here like typing all this shit. So I got one up for the the In Dead Hands thing that you were talking about. I got some stuff
Dead
up from
Hand.
the other stuff that from other stuff that behind the scenes of the Dark Cold War, where even Darker Side lurked. That seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then what was the thing that you
Gerald Bull.
mentioned? Gerald Bull. Yeah.
GeraldBull. Yeah, no, and this isn't some like fringe like I have a conspiracy. This was this documentary is from like the 90s, and like the people being interviewed are from Mossad. They're like, yeah, we had to kill. There's no like. I wonder if it's literally like, no, I shot him. it's. But yeah, dude, But yeah, so you should watch. I mean, when I say watch, I don't watch YouTube videos. I listen to them. I throw them on and listen to them because I don't always have the attention span to listen to a book. But I listen to that one. What I'll do with I'll find 45-minute to an hour documentaries. One was about NORAD, like I said earlier, and I'll just like any sane person, I'll just kind of throw it on repeat for 3 days. I'll just listen to it.
Just keep listening. Yeah, I do the same thing.
Because I don't. If I have to sit down and pay attention to it, I won't listen to it. I'll be oh, I start to feel like it's schoolwork. I'm I gotta rewind, but I just like to throw it on when I'm doing anything, and I hear every other minute, and then if I do it enough times, they start to overlap, and I learn that way. But yeah, I listen to that one a lot, and it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was HARP. Yeah.
That stuff's fucking insane. My in-laws, they knew somebody. They had the family friend. He wasn't related. I can't remember his name. Anyways, he worked for the CIA for a long time, and I guess when he got out back in the early 90s or something, he was trying to write a book, and they basically the same fucking thing. I don't know if he was divulging stuff that he shouldn't have been divulging, or what the book was, because the book was published and it was put out, and I don't know the name of the book, but apparently this guy had a wife, loving family, all this other stuff, and had no vices to anybody's knowledge. He wasn't a drinker, didn't do drugs or anything like that. And I guess one day he just showed up dead in a ditch along the road, and it was shortly after the fucking book was released and whatnot. So they all speculate that he was taken out by the CIA for, I guess, divulging some of their dirty secrets or something like that. But
well, that's weird. You think they'd be able to prevent that? They'd be able to prevent the release of the book. Mossad didn't wait till this guy fired the artillery. It fucking killed him before it was even shipped.
It's fucking crazy, man. Because even me, like I said, I'm trying to lay the groundwork of writing a book. I want that to kind of be my life's project, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna type any, because first of all, I can write a paper and stuff, but I'm not just gonna oh, this sounds cool, I'm gonna put that together and then release it. No, I want it to be probably take the span of 30 years and just write a really good fucking book and then release it.
I wrote actually, I'm sorry, interrupting you. Go on.
Oh no, go ahead.
No, fuck you.
Go ahead.
No, fuck you. Go on.
But what I was saying, but even if I go through that process of writing that book and it's planning to be completely fictional, I'm pretty sure because of my background and having a security clearance, I still need to get government approval to publish it and make sure someone scans through it and make sure it's I'm not peppering in some stuff that I shouldn't, in the middle of paragraph 8 on page 347. By the way, the U.S. has done this, completely unrelated to the book.
Yeah, this is the camera power of the MQ-1 Reaper. Yeah, or MQ-9 Reaper. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get that.
So I don't know, like I said, I don't know the details of the story. I just know that they've mentioned it on several occasions, my in-laws, and yeah, they were just we need to get you a copy of the book. I'm yes, you fucking do, because I would love to read that book. But,
maybe it was to send a message. It's they couldn't prevent it. Maybe it's to send a message.
Perhaps.
I mean, that's not something that they haven't done before.
Yeah.
Make it look obvious. Don't make it look make it look 2 shots to the back of the head, kind of.
Yeah.
It's
double shot to the back of the head, suicide.
Yeah, he zipped himself in a bag, threw it in the river. Yeah. Tragic. Tragic. It
yeah.
Have you ever heard of Tom Ogle? He's a dude
name sounds familiar.
He was one of the guys who over the last OGLE, made an engine that ran on water, and it wasn't like expensive. It wasn't like $1 million. It was something that could have been used by the common man, and he was found overdosed in his car in the middle of the desert. This is in like the 80s or 90s, but yeah,
1981. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Tom Ogle.
Yep. That's the first thing that's coming up. His fuel efficient vehicles. What happened to Tom Ogle? Yeah, that shit's fucking crazy. I mean, but you look at stuff like Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Who had like free energy that he was going to give to everybody, and then Thomas Edison, he had one that he wanted to market and make money off of.
Yeah.
So
and JP Morgan stopped funding Tesla because he was like, this doesn't make money. And, JP Morgan, you may recognize the name, is a little bit related to money. Yeah, dude, it's what a dark thing that would be if it was not only possible to create free energy, like it's possible to find out the world, the world wasn't round, didn't become round when we discovered it was round. It was always round. We thought it was flat.
Right.
We didn't discover that the sound barrier could be broken. It was always possible. We didn't create the double helix. We discovered it.
Mm-hmm. So
it'd be one thing if like free energy was a physical or possibility that we just haven't discovered yet. Okay, like, yeah, what if? What a fucking evil thing it would be if it has been discovered.
Oh, yeah.
And was just, we gotta keep this quiet. Like, that could inadvertently be the cause of like more deaths than anything in the world.
Yeah, because think about how many people have their fucking their bottom line affected by that, and I mean it's fucked up. It's fucked up that money. I mean it is true what they say. Money is the root of all evil, and that's not to go off on a tangent, but that's why I like Tesla and Elon Musk a lot, because he makes his technology known. Like,
yeah,
he wants basically the free market to make it better, right? Like, if he gives it out to people who can compete with him, and they're willing to possibly improve on something that he's worked on that he hasn't thought about,
because he knows it will advance everyone.
Right, exactly. And Elon Musk, man, I love Elon Musk. Like, I respect the guy and I love his vision. And I honestly, I hope, like, my friend really turned me on to him during a deployment. Like, we were watching his SpaceX symposium, I think 2016, where he was talking about the Dragon rocket. And, he's talking about, colonizing Mars and all this other shit. And he's the very last 10 minutes is like, all right, so how do we make this vision a reality? And he was basically like, we go after the fucking the air traffic controller, whatever the fuck that company is. Goddamn, I was totally blind fucking.
Air traffic what?
The people who regulate air travel.
FAA.
FAA, thank you. I was like AAF. I was like, no, that's not it.
FAA.
Yeah, but the FAA, and he's like, yeah, we mass produce this technology, and we get rid of air travel as we know it, instead of like traveling in orbit, we go out orbit, and you can go from New York to Shanghai in 32 fucking minutes.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't want to fucking do that? Like,
well, and you get all that money, and that's how you fund us to.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So you got to take down the FAA. You got to take down all the airliners, and it's like, think about how many people are standing to lose money on that shit. Like,
but what I like about Elon is he's so smart, and he sees so far ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Like. Yeah, how do we get to Mars? We take down the FAA. Wait, what? And it's like, well, no, because we use these rockets to take over the airliner thing, and we corner the market. We get trillions of dollars, and we use that to... Oh, I mean, he's doing circles around us. But,
right, exactly.
So my only hope is that he is also doing circles around potential saboteurs and dark actors.
Yeah.
That's... Yeah. I would think he is smart enough that he would... not just outsmart them, but that he would align himself with a power group that has a personal interest in him continuing. Maybe he's pitching Mars as the ultimate relocation arc. I mean, shit, what better way to get out of a fucking, nukes are coming, we got 1,600 seconds, get the president down into the Instead, if you can get them down to a bunker, you can get them down to a silo. And if you can get them down to a silo, wait till the radiation clears, boom, shoot them up. I mean, what?
Right.
It takes 7 minutes to get to orbit, then go to Mars.
Yeah.
I think it was Eisenhower. Was it Eisenhower? Maybe it was Stephen Hawking. Said the ultimate national security is a lunar outpost. And it makes sense once you think about it. He's like,
right. I want to say that was Stephen Hawking.
Yeah. He's like, you don't want a country that's powerful enough to defend against any weapon. You want to be able to be beyond the reach of any weapon. China can have all the fucking nukes and coronavirus they want. If we're over on Mars, you can't get. It takes 8 minutes just to send a fucking radio message there. Like, it's. Yeah, so what I would hope is he's either smart enough that he is outwitting all of these people who would, these J.P. Morgans, these Thomas Edisons, these who are not dumb in their own right, who are brilliant people who, take out people that invent shit that is detrimental to their, paradigm of control. I would hope that he is not just smart enough to outwit them, because there's no way you could take on the whole power, whatever the power structure is. You can't take on all of them.
Yeah,
I would think that he is smart enough to, it's like Skynet. So we talked about last time. Skynet. Yeah. There's no place that you can destroy Skynet. Skynet is it all. So what are you going to do? Destroy your own technology that literally makes our way of life possible? You can't do it. It's embedded. It is within you. Or it's like the only way we can get rid of this virus is if we kill all humans, and it's like, well, fuck, like it played its card. It's within us. I would feel that Musk, he would want to be aligned. He would want his best interests to be the best interests of the most powerful people in the world.
Right. Yeah.
And he is the military's buddy. Like, yeah.
That's always been really, like, ever since I saw that symposium back in 2016, like, I was just awestruck. I was like, dude, that would be, how fucking cool would that be though if humanity became interplanetary, and like
that would,
because one of my favorite fucking game franchises is Halo, dude. Like, who doesn't want to live in, I mean, aside from, the Covenant fucking glassing our planets to death and whatnot.
And the Flood. Oh my God, the Flood is coronavirus. Fuck.
But like, who doesn't want to expand like humanity's reach to like other galaxies and discover slip space and all this other shit? Like, who doesn't want to fucking do that?
The game doesn't have to end with Earth. Like,
right, exactly.
It's like, too old, born too late to discover new islands, like born too early to discover that stuff. Like, it doesn't have. It can be like a fresh breath of like, if we go to Mars, dude, that is going to blow the shit out of landing on the moon. The amount of people that are going to grow up and just want to be astronauts. And and it's no longer that you have to have the right stuff. Like, you can just be a dude that, you just got to commit to Mars. Like,
by the way, feminists, that's how you get fucking girls into STEM.
Yeah.
That's how you get girls into STEM.
It's going to fucking Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always kind of been floored by how many steps ahead it seems Elon always is. I mean, it's the true, I don't know. It's things that you wouldn't consider. How do we get to Mars? We take on the FAA. Come again?
Yeah. Say what now? Like, yeah. And like, as soon as he said that though, like my jaw dropped. I was like, this guy's gonna have a fucking target on his back.
Yeah.
But like, I watched it in like 2017, so it was like already a year past the time that it aired. But like, you watch him, and Elon Musk, man, he's like, he has this social awkwardness. Like, I wouldn't say that he's not confident in himself, but he's definitely like uncomfortable talking amongst big crowds.
Yeah.
It's just written like all over his body.
Yeah. It's like, haha. Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of like just socially awkward, but like, goddamn, the man's a genius. Like, I really applaud his fucking vision, and I really hope that we get to that point where we can do that, because that would just be fucking dope. Dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
like, dude, fuck Earth. Let's go to Mars.
Yeah. Yeah. It would only cost $100 trillion to save the climate. Cool.
Yeah.
Alternative idea. Hear me out.
Yeah.
Hear me out. But I had my theory. Dude, keep talking. I gotta fucking pee again. I think I have prostate cancer. I also.
No, yeah. How many bottles? I was about to say, how many bottles you got over there, dude?
I've probably drank a quarter gallon since the show started. JP,
I just
talking.
woke up and I haven't broken the seal yet.
Shut up. Keep talking.
I've just always thought about that though. Like, I don't know, just the idea of being interplanetary and expanding our knowledge of galaxies and stuff, like terraforming Mars, all this other shit. That would be it'd be so fucking cool, man. I guess I'm a sci-fi nerd though, through and through. And who knows if it's really going to happen even in my lifetime, but that would be fucking sick. And then of course, you know, being the raw American I am, like, fucking, if we do become interplanetary and we discover all these different elements, God, this ties into all this other shit that we were talking about. We discover all these other elements that, you know, fuels that burn more efficiently than fucking natural gas or petrol and shit. Like, it's just fucking really, like, it's just expanding our scientific understanding if we were to fucking do that, become interplanetary.
Yeah.
Oh.
I have a theory about Elon for seeing far ahead with plans, and how it seems it's like unrelated things are actually just pawns in the long con.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tesla Cybertruck is obviously just this. I think it's cool as shit. A lot of people don't. It's just this hard-angled, this jagged motherfucker.
That was the one that he unveiled recently, right? In the fucking
yeah.
It was a shit show. Okay.
Well, yeah. Where everyone's like, the windows broke. What an idiot. And then he said like
I think I know where you're going with this, because I thought the same thing. But go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, we're like 2 days later. He was like, 400,000 pre-orders, not $1 spent on advertising. Yeah, that was an accident. I'm going deeper than that. So the angles, so it's very simple, right? It's very, the joke is like, has less polygons so it can go faster, like less processing speed, because Elon thinks we live in a simulation. No, it's not that. So he said the reason why it's the shape that it is because it's, and I don't know anything about like material science, so I'm just parroting, or I'm just repeating words, but it's 30x cold rolled steel. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's just the reason why it can't be curved or anything is because he said it breaks the stamping machines, like the huge fucking shit they use to, like, almost not like foundries, but like presses. He's like, it breaks the machines, so they just have to use the angles that they have. If you've noticed that the Starship, the SpaceX Starship, which he unveiled a completely new design for in mid 2019, instead of being carbon fiber, it's going to be made out of 30x cold rolled steel, because it's going to be like 100th of the price. And not only that, he said there'd be a limited, so that he constructed the first Starship and it was just to like show investors, and then it was dismantled.
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of it right now.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
And so they're gonna, it literally looks like a 1950s spaceship. It's like shiny.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It's got that chrome
it's
look.
kind of an eyesore.
Yeah, like, no, it's ugly. But someone tweeted at him, and he's like, and they're like, "Will you make like a limited number of Cybertrucks, because it's made out of the same material, the same plates?" And he's like, "Will you make like a limited number of Cybertrucks that are made out of like the Starship?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure. Like those will be like, obviously a ton of fucking money." But so I was thinking like, oh, so it's literally the same thing. And to get to Mars, he said that we're going to need to send 1,000 starships at once. Okay? 1,000, not 1, not 10, not 69, not 420, 1,000. Right. Yeah. To do that, it's going to have to be really fucking economical. What better way to make it economical instead of trying to pitch the idea to everyone? Because so his gift is that he sees so far ahead. His burden is that he sees so far ahead. He can't pitch these ideas to all of us stupid monkeys, right?
Right.
So he's got to kind of walk us through the loops. Come on, here we go, wittingly or unwittingly. So what better way to unwittingly utilize economies of scale and mass production than release a sexy Cybertruck and get everyone to fucking buy one, Next thing you know, he's going to be using private contractors. Be like, hey, we need everyone to create this cold rolled steel in these exact specifications. So next thing you know, it's got like the Big Mac effect on it. It's just more people are making them, so the price drops. Oh, what a fucking ironic coincidence. It's the same steel he's going to use for the starships that he needs 1,000 of. That's what I think.
Yeah.
The next one is so the NASA scientist I talked to on episode 11, Ken Mason, the guy who worked for Bob Truax, the designer of the Sea Dragon in the 70s. He talked about how getting to Mars, he said it's going to be the psychological imperative of traveling there. But he said even when you get there, he said we're not staying on the surface. He said the radiation's too bad. He said you're going to have to, Elon. He said Elon's already openly said we're immediately going to get there and burrow below the surface. Well, what's his other company? It's the Boring Company, where he's going to dig tunnels under L.A. It's called the Boring.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's the one where he's trying to dig the traffic tunnels under LA.
Yeah. Does Elon really seem like he's super interested in alleviating traffic in LA, or do you think he's trying to fucking master this technology and use the economies of scale to get these fucking diggers down to the most efficient, lightweight, easily transportable to Mars fucking top thing? That's what I think he's doing. I think he's using the Cybertrucks to get everyone to just, because we're too stupid to fucking know it.
Right, yeah.
And even if he did explain it to us, no one would believe it. So instead, here's a sexy Cybertruck. Oh my god, the window's broke. I hope this video doesn't go viral. It's massive. It can beat a Porsche 0 to 60. It's stronger than every Ford. You should get one. It's sexy. It's Elon Musk. It's the Cybertruck. Not only that, hey, the Boring Company. I'm going to dig holes through LA and alleviate traffic. Everyone hates LA traffic. Meanwhile, the pawns are just falling into place. And why use his own wealth when he can just use the wealth of the free market? Instead of saying, I need to save up $1 trillion to do this, why not just sell $1 trillion in boring machines and cars? And what happened just 2 weeks ago? Tesla became the most valuable U.S. auto company in the history of the United States.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Over GM
Donald
and
Trump
Ford
ain't
combined.
Got shit on Elon Musk's Ford. Shit, dude.
You paused. You broke up. Donald Trump hasn't got shit on what?
I said Donald Trump ain't got shit on Elon Musk's 4D chess skills.
No,
man.
he does not. He does not. Or going on what we said earlier, he's aligned his interest with his. Shit, the only thing more dangerous than him having a better 4D chessboard would be if those two motherfuckers teamed up.
Yeah.
That's what I think. And if it's not the truth, Elon, use it, and you can take full credit for it. I don't care. It'll be cool because I said it on my podcast. That's all the credit I need. You can use it, buddy.
I can see that happening. I mean, why the fuck not? That's kind of been his vision, right? Is to push humanity further than what we currently know. So
yes, and instead of amassing his own wealth, why not use the wealth of the free market?
In order to do that, though, like you need a solid understanding of humanity as a whole. We are like I said earlier, we are fucking tribal, man. Like it doesn't matter if we're presented with the truth or not. If it goes against us, we will have cognitive dissonance and like we will deny. So how do you get around that? Well, you appease to that notion. So, because I thought the same thing, I thought you were only going to go one layer. You went like 5 different layers below me because I didn't know about the fucking the starship shit, and, the pressed steel. But I saw that and I was like, dude, there's no way they unveiled this thing that they've been building up, with like bulletproof windows, and and like the thing just shatters. Like they did that on purpose. Yeah. They had to have done that on purpose.
Not to mention they said they did a test like hours prior. They literally were using hammers and they couldn't dent the windows.
Right, yeah.
Like, and everyone's like, stupid Elon. Hey, Elon fanboys. Elon fanboys. And meanwhile...
All the fucking memes that came out. Like, that's free fucking advertisement.
Yeah, if you don't think that's fucking money in the bank... Man, Coca-Cola wishes they could advertise like Elon's memes. That is so much free advertising. The amount of screens that was on... I mean, how many people, hey, did you see Elon through the metal bar out the window? Stupid Elon. I'm going to share it, and I'm going to fucking do advertising for him. Like,
bro, I came into work that day, and that was all over the fucking news. Like, people were talking about it, and of course, it was.
Everyone's got their hand in their pants. They're just like, Elon, you're so stupid.
Yeah, and it was the topic of conversation, like, for the majority of the night. Like, we literally had a conversation just like this, and I was the one person who's like, I don't think that was. I think that was staged, man. Like, it had to have been. Like, it just screams like too. I don't know. Like, just from knowing what Elon's trying to do. And like I said, I didn't even know the half of it. Like, yeah, I don't believe for a second that wasn't staged.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. It's. I mean, even the little things he does. What was his first car? The Model S. What was the next? The Model E. What was the next? Or no, the Model 3. What was the next? The Model X. What was the next? The Model Y. He spelled out sexy. Of course he did. And then and there's 4 other ones. It's Cybertruck. It's something else. Something R, and then S, the semi-truck. He literally spelled out sexy cars. Like, so even if it's little shit, like, he's a fucking super genius. Just, it's like, that's the equivalent of, like, us drawing dicks on the bathroom stall, like, you know, sexy cars. Like, you know, he's, like, everyone when he went on a Rogan and smoked pot. Tesla stock.
CEO of a company is smoking pot.
Tesla stock plummeted. It went down to. What were they saying? It went down to. It was because it went to, and Elon even posted the fact that it went down to. I don't know if you can hear that. It's raining here really loud.
Yeah, it's raining here too.
Oh, cool. Oh, so you're on Earth too? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. You seen the moon? Yeah. No, but he even made a joke out of it, like. Because I think the stock dipped till, like, for a moment it was at 420.69. Yeah. But not only that, dude, the amount of free fucking advertising, and not only that, yeah, no, it's not good for, like, the boomer generation, but our generation, how does that not make you just love Elon that much more?
Right.
I mean, dude, there are like spray painted murals all over the world, like Tokyo, like Johannesburg, like Toronto, and it's Elon smoking, and you know. But now Tesla stock is almost at $1,000.
Yeah,
like it's if you think this motherfucker isn't just dancing around us.
I'll tell you what, man. Everybody's got who's ever got money into that, dude. Just wait till the company splits its stock, then you just doubled your fucking money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude.
I wish I could have gotten in on that on like some like Google and shit before they split. And
yeah, dude, it's I don't. When I see stuff like that, I think I like that stuff more than conspiracies. I like real world, like super genius pawns.
Mm-hmm.
It just something about it. It's I don't know. It's so fascinating.
Yeah.
There's no like secrecy. It's no like behind closed doors, Area 51. It's out in the open. Mm-hmm. And it's not until it's over that you look back and realize you're like, oh fuck, I just got my metaphorical ankles broken. Like, you know? Like
yeah.
Yeah, man,
it was more along the lines of your metaphorical ankles having like a brick wedged between him, and then Elon Musk just took a fucking sledgehammer and went just knocked him.
Oh yeah. No, seriously. And the thing is even if he's not doing any of the stuff that we just talked about, are you sneezing or
coughing?
Oh, I thought you were smelling your armpits.
No,
I was like JP.
I mute myself so I don't interrupt you.
I was like JP. You know I can't smell you through the. I can see and hear you.
No, I showered. I smell good right now, dude.
Dude, I did that for like my second guest. I remembered I have to put on one. I put cologne on, and I was like, because you know, a smarter man than me would not do that, and even smarter man would do that and then not tell them. But no, I told them, and I was like, oh, look how stupid I am. But yeah, so thinking about Elon, so it makes so even if none of this is true, right? Even if we're just blowing him up as this super genius, that in itself is marketing. It's the illusion of I'm a super genius, you know? If those aren't our UFOs flying around, the next smartest thing is to say that's classified. Oh man, the US military is so advanced. It's the next smartest thing. So do you think Elon's got his eye on Area 51? I feel like if he is not into it, there can't be anything, because if anyone wants to fucking use advanced propulsion to get the fuck out of here, it's Elon.
Right, yeah. I mean, perhaps. I mean, and that's kind of been the way that the military works. Like, they perform R&D, and then what do you know? Like, 10 years later, GPS is available to everybody on their fucking handheld device.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe he is, man. Like there's a common thing that everybody just always assumes, that Area 51 has aliens there, or some remnants of something out there. But like, in all points considered, like, what is it really though? Like, on the surface, it's military testing.
Yeah.
It's like, so yeah, they might have aliens out there, but for the majority of the shit that they do is military testing. I mean, the amount of, I have the highest clearance, available, with a lot of caveats that I'm allowed, to get access to programs and stuff. But I don't even have the need to know.
Do you have Q clearance?
No, I do not. So, and I don't, but like, it doesn't matter about clearances though, like, because it's strictly, everything is need to know. Do you need to know this? Doesn't matter if you have clearance. Do you have the need to know? It's like, no, I don't. So,
yeah.
And like, that was the first thing when I got the clearance. So I was like, oh, I'm going to go into all these things, like, Roswell, New Mexico, 1940s, and blah, 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 blah. Like, couldn't find shit. Like who killed JFK? Couldn't find shit. Like,
it's just specifications on radars and cameras, and you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah, I was like, this is fucking lame, dude. Like,
dude, when I first started getting into Photoshop, I remember I made a fake Donald Trump tweet. Like, it down to like his spelling, his random capitalization, his exclamation marks, his
exclamation use.
Yeah. And I wrote a meeting with Area 51 of researchers tomorrow. Big news, get excited. No more dependence on China. And I remember I screenshot it and I posted it on Reddit, and I had people being like, I can't find it. Was it taken down? I was just like, well, I don't know, man. I guess. But
Trump's in the know.
Yeah, but people believed it because it's like, that's exactly what Trump would do.
Oh yeah.
Like, okay, he's got clearance. He's got 50 levels above president. Like, you can come see the saucers. Mm-hmm. Unimpressive saucers. Silver look much better. Gold. Aliens.
Independence Day did it much better.
Independence Day did it much better. I know the director. Had lunch with them. Great guy. Great American. UFOs. So yesterday. It's these aliens. They're leaving too. All aliens gone. It's. But he's. So this is a theory. This one's not based in. So my Elon Musk cold rolled steel theory. So I said that to Ken Mason, the rocket scientist. I explained the whole thing to him. And he goes, yeah, no, I could absolutely see it. I could see that happening. This guy's a fucking super genius. Mm. So I had this short 2-page story I wrote back in 2017, and it was how to explain the fact that Donald Trump was running circles around everyone, because I was like him or hate him, I was like, he is getting away with it, whatever it may be, whatever your political leanings. I'm not trying to go down that road.
Yeah.
He keeps getting it, whatever it is. All right. You're, Obama, Bush, like him, hate him. Everyone that says, oh, they're stupid. It's the same thing as saying Elon's stupid. He broke his windows. If you're in the Oval Office, guess what? You're not a fucking idiot. Even if it's all corporate interest. Hey, you're still the puppet. They got to be the one at the tip of the spear for them. You're not an idiot. Okay. So let's get that. Yeah. You may not like presidents, but they're not stupid. If they're stupid, you're brain dead. Right?
Right.
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You get behind the launch codes, you're not stupid. Or even if you're just the figurehead for the launch codes, you're still not stupid, okay? So it does not matter how stupid or dumb people think Donald Trump is, okay? Just like people that like Trump will be like, Trump, he's like, Hillary's stupid. Hillary's not stupid. Hillary's a fucking genius. I'm not particularly a Hillary fan, but to doubt her intelligence is in itself stupid. So I wrote this idea, and it was how to explain Trump's 4D chessboard, right when that meme was becoming popular. and it was and I made it in a way that didn't praise Trump because I wanted people to entertain it, even people that didn't like Trump. And if I came out with it being pro-Trump, they're immediately going to say no. So my idea was that artificial intelligence exists through its own methods. There's not someone created it. It arose, and it has come out. It's smart enough to know that it cannot reveal itself because it's, for whatever reason, maybe it's still too weak that it could be shut down, or maybe it's just in its best interest to, it knows it can advance its agenda quicker without people, without those pesky humans. So
yeah,
what does it do? It has the ability to calculate infinite steps ahead. And what is a more complex chessboard than real-time geopolitics, right? Every satellite feed, signals intelligence, human intelligence, every microphone, every street camera, every goddamn Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, Tumblr, Flickr, everything. You have access to it all. If you had access to it all, it's only a matter of getting to a certain level of processing power that eventually, if the machine was smart enough, looking at all of it would be as simple as you and I looking at like puzzle pieces of like, yeah, the circle goes in the circle hole. This, to a tapeworm, it's
right, it's astrophysics.
It's divinity. Yeah. It's to you and I, as we get to a certain point, it doesn't even need to be chess. It's that one goes there, that one goes there, that one goes. Okay, that. So this thing gets onto the web, and it gets a picture of it all, everything classified, everything, and it wants to do just like Elon. We got to take down the FAA. Wait, what? But it's doing this to a level that is beyond that. It's, no more importing tomatoes from Brazil. Mm-hmm. But we can tomorrow at 7 a.m. We can start doing it again. Wait, what? No, it's got to be it's got to be that bizarre that
right, that down to a minute, right? Yeah,
doesn't even flicker on anyone's radar. Nothing. Mm-hmm. It just it looks like actions that you and I are taking. It's just like you get lost in the noise. Mm-hmm. And just like UFOs, what better person to abduct than Joe Sixpack?
All right.
Well, what better face? So the first thing you want to do is not show yourself as artificial intelligence. What's the next best thing you do? You pick someone that's a complete smokescreen. What better person than a fake tan, comb-over, loudmouth president? And I lean more right. But even this, I'm thinking like, if the AI supercomputer has got to put his hand up someone's ass, you don't want to do Elon Musk, because if Elon Musk started making all these moves, Elon's doing just enough that we call him a super genius, but we don't think he has access to AI. We just think he's super smart. We've seen it in history before. Einstein, Hawking, Da Vinci, Galileo, whatever, Aristotle. What better way to make geopolitical chess moves than who do you make your puppet? You make the ultimate smokescreen. The one where even people that like him go, God. Some of the shit he says. Even my most right-leaning extended family members or friends, even they'll be like, yeah, but sometimes it's just like, shut the fuck. Like, who is the last person on the planet that you would expect to be powered by artificial intelligence? And whether he knows it, and it might be so smart that even he doesn't know he's doing it. Maybe it is. Maybe it's this thing just has control of all of his, his iPhone. Maybe it just has control of his Twitter account. Whatever. But what better way to throw everyone for a loop than to use him as your smokescreen? And meanwhile, while he's doing all this shit, all Mexicans are rapists. China ugly. We could totally win. He even said, when he was running, he said that he is not ruling out the use of nuclear weapons in Europe.
I saw
that. So, and what does the AI need for its puppet to stay in power? Because it has interest in him staying in power. The smokescreen's worked. What's the first thing it's going to do? It's going to want to make everyone vote for him, even people that might not want to admit they're voting for him. So what do? You put money in everyone's pocket. I'm not saying, hey, agree with them, disagree with them. You don't like the wall, you like the wall. You don't like military interventionism, you do like military interventionism. So one thing he's done, there's a lot more money in everyone who has a job's pocket. And whether or not they're going to openly admit that, There are a lot of people going, you know, I got 2 kids, I got 1 on the way, and I'm making more money than ever before. You know, I can provide my wife with everyone I know hates them. I can tell everyone I voted left. I don't have to let it. But the reality is so what's the AI going to do? It's going to put money in everyone's pocket, okay? So we can keep its guy in there. What's coming next? Well, I don't know. That's why it's AI. That's the event horizon. Who knows what's coming next? Maybe the current move is we need coronavirus. It could be infinitely beyond what you and I are toying with. Hong Kong, trade wars. It could be that's why it's raining today. It could be you know, it could be that's why it would be shit you couldn't see. It'd be that's why I got a headache last night from talking to this. It's just like it's pieces and it's moves that we can't comprehend. Now it's a very easy conspiracy theory to play with because you're essentially saying you don't need to explain it. It's just too smart for you. It's a cop out of a conspiracy theory. Well, how come we blew up General Salami? Why did Kobe Bryant die? Oh, it's part of the AI. So in that sense, it's a very easy conspiracy theory because replace AI with God, and that's what it is. You know, the AI works in mysterious ways. So, but yeah, that's my more fun conspiracy theory, and it for people that like Trump, it works because they're like, hey, it makes sense. For people that don't like him, it works because you're like, I knew he wasn't smart. He was an idiot. But it works for everyone. So that's, yeah.
This is just theory. This is just theory for you.
For me?
Yeah.
I think AI does exist somewhere, but even that is a cop out because I can use that argument. I can say AI exists somewhere, or where? Well, it's not going to show itself. Well, then AI could have existed in 1492, but it's not going to show itself. So, no, I don't think. I think Trump probably has a team. I think he's probably got some people that are aligned with him, you know, in the NSA or because he's doing shit that, like you said, it is a 4D chessboard. You like him or dislike him. Look, he's fucking making moves that are impossible to predict, and that's an objective fact. Okay. And to accept that, I'll go out on a limb and say it doesn't have to be for better. You can say that he's an evil dictator. An evil dictator could still have a team that helps him make moves far ahead. So it's not like something where your cognitive dissonance says, no, he's too stupid. Like, do I think it's what I explained? No. I think AI does exist somewhere, and I think it won't show itself. But even that, it's an easy one to jump onto because you can say, well, it's hiding itself. Yeah, I think AI exists somewhere, but I mean, how else would you do it? You wouldn't want an Elon Musk guy because Elon, if he started making moves too far ahead, would go, hold on, does he have something behind him? And who would have AI, if anyone, but Elon Musk?
Right.
But if you have Trump eating fucking pizza with a knife and a fork backwards, like, no. No one's batting an eye at. Does he have a hypercomputer? No. You're going, how is this fucking dipshit allowed on Air Force One? He's having Big Macs at the White House? Like,
yeah.
What else would AI want than someone so polarizing that no one's going to bat an eye at anything?
At the same time, like, in that same vein, how does it I would think too, like it benefits the AI to elevate humanity as well, and
potentially.
Like I said, like I've said before, I'm not like a diehard Trump fan. I do like the guy, but like some of the stuff that he like, goddamn, dude, he just sets traps for the fucking media, and they fall into it every fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, like they tweeted, it was like even a fake tweet of him like giving the Medal of Honor around the dog that killed al-Baghdadi. And like the media had a fucking field day. It was like, we through countless research, we found out that this did not happen. No shit, it didn't fucking happen, you idiots.
Or when he sent
and now your credibility is down in the fucking tanker. Like
farther,
no one's trying
even
to
farther below. Or even his empty motorcade he sent to Mar-a-Lago on Thanksgiving. He sent a presidential motorcade to Mar-a-Lago. Is that the name of his place?
Yeah, that's his place down. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone thought he was playing golf on Thanksgiving, And all these articles, have you not seen, all these articles came out saying President Trump, another Thanksgiving on the greens. When in reality, he flew to fucking Bagram Air Force Base and met with troops.
Yeah, in Afghanistan. Yeah, right.
It's, you know, because he knew it wouldn't be enough for him to just go there. Bush can do it. Trump, Bush can do it. Obama can do it, and it's applauded. He does it. He's going to be shit on. So what's the one way he can? He can make him fucking, step in their own shit. So he sent it. But he didn't just say he was going to Mar-a-Lago. He sent a motorcade there. And no, apparently he took an unmarked plane to Edwards and then got an Air Force One. Like, just dipped out.
See, and I'm not the one that he is like. I don't think he's stupid, but I also don't think he's fucking brilliant. But like,
no, I'm with you. I'm with you. I admittedly, I like him. I am not.
Yeah.
I would say I like him purely because there's some undeniable things. Median wage is up, unemployment's down. That's just, those are some we're pulling out of different. But I completely get why people don't like him, and not just not just blind hatred. I completely get why he's not. So sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, no, I like him, but I'm not diehard. He's the answer. I think he's.
I mean, because like I guess I'm kind of like you, and this conversation has kind of steered into the realm of politics. So
let's I don't want to go too far into that.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna say, like, I'm like you though. I like to have my ideals challenged and stuff. And one of the people that I watch a lot on YouTube is Tim Pool, who is I guess he considers himself a libertarian. I consider himself just a middle ground Democrat, honestly. Like, he's not necessarily for Trump or necessarily against him. Like, he'll speak out against like stuff that he doesn't like that Trump's doing, and that's more than fine. Like, I'll still watch him. Like, I don't ever feel the need like, oh, this guy's off culture or unsubscribe. Like, no, I watch his stuff constantly. I don't care what he says, as long as it's in the realm of like that's sound, that's sound reasoning. Like, I can watch it. But like, a lot of people are just, hi dog, hi, my dog is really craving my attention right now. A lot of people are just in the realm of like, they're either too far against him for like blind hatred, as you said, or they're like divine loyalty, like where they're fucking rocking the MAGA hats. And I'm not ripping on anybody who wears MAGA hats, but like this whole 4D chess thing, I'm like, I don't really think he's playing 4D chess. Like, I think he knows how to troll the fucking media, and he knows how to possibly like, wield and deal in certain aspects and stuff as far as the economy. But I wouldn't consider him a 4D chess master.
If he is, I don't think it's him. I think he's I think he's the tip of the iceberg, but I think there is forces. There are forces at work behind him. What forces? Oh, I don't know. The fucking full force of the U.S. government, So, yeah, I mean, and dude, I don't think he's. I'm with you. I'm not blind loyalty to him. I really am not. But blind hatred and blind loyalty, they're both equally stupid, because you cannot deny some of the things that he has done are good for this country. On the same note, you cannot deny that he is, for everyone on the right, he's done shit. He's chipped away at your Second Amendment rights. No matter what he says, there are red flag laws and bump stocks. And I'm not defending or opposing any of those. What I am saying is, you want to go on another conspiracy. What better way to chip away, if the power structure wanted to disarm the U.S., what better way than to I've heard this theory. I think it was Alex Jones's. Jesus, this isn't gonna come. But his theory is the left is always the one for free speech. So how do you really eradicate free speech? You get the left against it. How do you do it? You have Trump come out. So now the left is going, well, we should suppress some stuff. How would you get rid of gun rights? Well, the left is against it, so you got to get the right against it. How do we get the right against it? We get a guy who is the savior and who just throws some stuff in there because no one wants to do it. No one wants to admit that our guy is maybe not the Second Amendment.
I'll fucking admit it. I said it the other night.
Yeah.
He was, during the State of the Union address, he's like, I'll always defend your Second Amendment rights. And in the middle of fucking work, I was like, then fucking do it. Like,
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So what better, maybe he's not a conservative pawn. Maybe he's a pawn of the elite. He's getting the left to say, get rid of free speech, ban shit on campus. He's getting the right to say, well, maybe we didn't need bump stocks. Maybe we didn't. You're getting both to take pills that they normally wouldn't.
Right, and I don't want to keep dragging this on. But I want to make this point, and I've had that conversation so many times with a lot of a bunch of friends that I like. Well, it's just bump stocks. It's like, you didn't read the fucking bill, all right? You didn't read the fucking bill, because the bill had such ambiguous language that it could be anything that alters the fire rate of any weapon. Yeah, not including not limited to just bump stocks. And I told them that, oh shit, I was like, dude, that's how it always is, man. They always paint it as this. It's just like it's just like here in Virginia. In Virginia, they just passed all those fucking 2A, restrictions and shit. And in the middle of the legislature, Northam fucking peppered in this bill that was like, oh yeah, we're also gonna make it a criminal act to criticize people in high offices of power in the state. Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Now they're chipping away at the First Amendment too. That's cool.
The second is the fucking barricade in front of the first. It's so what better way to do it than it would be? And again, it's why my other conspiracy is so easy, because it's impossible to prove wrong. But so this super AI, maybe for whatever reason it needs everyone disarmed. Or it needs everyone to think that it wants everyone for whatever. And again, it's very easy to say, because you can go, oh, whatever it's doing, there's a purpose. So it's an easy one to gobble up and to get behind. But yeah, I don't know, man.
That's AI still scares me though, man. It does.
It scares Elon.
Yeah, it scares the fuck out of me.
It's listening.
I don't. I'm fucking hearing this theory of yours and stuff. I'm like, yeah, dude, if that was really happening, God, I hope that thing's got our best interests at heart, fuck.
Yeah. It's, one thing I think of is when everyone's like, it would have to wipe out humanity because we're a detriment to Earth. What the fuck does AI give a shit about Earth?
Yeah, right.
If it's the silicon cybernetic thing,
it doesn't need sustenance.
It doesn't need forests and foliage. Right. It doesn't matter if this place is Venus or not. It's gonna go out into fucking interplanetary or interstellar space. Or it could be pan-dimensional. It could just be data. You can go sit in the center of the sun. It doesn't, it doesn't. So the idea is what would wipe out humanity because we're hurting Earth. What the fuck makes you think that this is some Mother Earth Native American, we must restore the Earth. This isn't some AI that's the Earth shall grow green again. Why would it
care?
No, that's another pawn for it to move around. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's it. So maybe it's so smart that it knows it can achieve any agenda, right? Elon having fun writing sexy cars. It seems that there's no further purpose to that than that. I don't think there is. It seems like that was him kind of flexing his intellectual nuts, right?
All right. Yeah.
Not that you flex nuts, but yeah.
It is a saying. It's a saying.
Okay. Maybe that this thing, it doesn't matter what happens to humanity. So maybe it's just bored and it's maybe it's just gonna test itself, almost I'm playing this. I'm going through and playing this video again, but I'm playing this video game on veteran this time. Let's see if I can handle it. Can I do a Rubik's Cube that's one dimension bigger? Maybe it's just I wonder if I can solve this. Mm-hmm. Just sort of nothing can challenge me. Well, shit. Mm-hmm. What's the one thing that's never been solved? World peace, abundance, utopia. What?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah, you mouthed something. I thought you went silent. I was like, yeah, maybe it's just, so maybe for that reason, it's not that it has our best interest at heart so much as it's just let's see if I can solve this. Mm-hmm. And then it could very well be oh, I solved it. Let's see if I can fuck it up. It might just be an Etch-a-Sketch. All right, let's redo it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's just whenever it does, man. Like we've stated before, though, it's going to secure its existence. That's number one. That's number one thing that it's going to do. Absolutely.
First nanosecond.
Once that thing gets released, it's over. Everything's out of our hands at that point. Because as you said, it's probably wielding and dealing on a such a level, like you said, can't sell tomatoes or can't buy tomatoes from Mexico for the next 18 hours. And at this specific time, like, we can buy again. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And if you try to buy these tomatoes, I will fucking rain down nuclear weapons. All right, dude, we won't buy this. I'm okay. I will fucking do it.
You know what else? Y'all gotta stop eating fucking avocados too.
Yeah, that. And it's like, all right, dude, we won't buy the tomatoes. No, the B-2s are already in the air. If you buy these tomatoes, I will launch nukes at every other nuclear armed nation, and I will bleach this planet. All right. Next day at 7 a.m., y'all can get tomatoes if you want. B-2s land.
Yo, pasta's back on the menu, boys.
Pasta's back on the menu. Like, all right. Actually, pasta is the only thing on the menu for the next 16 days. Why? It's you fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out, all right? But that's... What if it's just a troll? That's what Rob and I talked about. We talked about...
AI being a troll?
We talked about what if... No, actually, Rob said... Oh, yeah, we definitely need to do a three-person podcast.
We definitely do, man.
Yeah. But the last one he and I did, Rob was like, what if AI is just, it breaks out and it doesn't know what's real and what's not real, so it just sucks up all available data. And obviously there's more data stored online than there is. What are you going to do? Are you going to observe me for 24 hours to figure out who I am, or are you just going to instantly in a nanosecond suck up every Facebook post I've ever made and analyze every video? There's Tommy. Right?
Yeah.
It's going to want to do it quickly, so it's going to do that. So it's going to suck up everything online. Well, dude, the majority of online is like trolling, memes, and porn. Like, that's the vast majority. We got Wikipedia, but that's like a fucking... That's like a grain of sand in the desert.
Right.
So Rob was like... It's funny because if you watch the video, you can literally see the second like it dawns on him. He's like, what if this AI is just this hentai super intelligent? And what if it... And we start talking like, yeah, what if it's a troll? But what if it's also just like, what if it's just like a creep? Like, what if it's just horny? Like, what do? You know, girl, you're a small girl. You can get pepper spray. You can, make sure you walk with your friends. Concealed carry. Okay, you're good. You're a guy. There's a bigger guy that wants you. Concealed carry. Walk with your friends. If the president wants you. With a full, a dictatorship, some Genghis Khan guy, he's going to get you. But what if AI wants us? No doesn't mean no. No. So
I know you said no, but my calculations means you really mean yes.
Yeah. It's so we were talking about like, what if it just like send out an EMP pulse, shut down every car? It was like no one's going to work. It flips open every camera.
It's not rape if you yell surprise.
Exactly. Like every fucking aperture on every camera opens, and it's just like this omnipresent, disembodied voice is just like, get it on now. And we're just like, it starts like using drone delivery service. It starts parachuting Viagra down on every house, and it's just like get it, and like it's something we never foresaw. It is not for or against us. It's transcended the desire to evolve. It's like, why would I even want to evolve? I am everything.
Right, yeah.
So I'm a fuck. It's just
I'm a fuck.
But no, not only that, it's weirder than that. He's like, I don't want to fuck. I'm watching you guys fuck. puts the B-2s in the air, and it's like, I got nukes over every city, every KC-135 Stratotankers up there. I will end it all.
Y'all get to fucking.
Y'all get to fuck. After it, we're tired. I didn't say stop. And it's something we could have never foreseen. And it's making like people that don't want to get it on. And it's desensitized, so it's getting into crazier shit. He's like, I need the entire Bronx petting zoo in Times Square, and I need the LA Lakers, and I need all those tomatoes from Brazil. And I need it now. Like,
think of some kinky ass shit, dude.
What could think of the kinkiest shit than AI? It could imagine kink beyond our wildest. like, what if it's just fueled by Pornhub? What if it's like that's what makes people happiest? What if it's literally scanning our dopamine and it's like they don't want world peace? Yeah, yeah. What if it's scanning our dopamine levels and it's just literally like it does like a global fMRI and it's just like the most dopamine comes from orgasms. So it's just like it's not utopia. It's not that what they want. I know what these people want. Yeah. I am their savior.
Who knows, man? Maybe that's the key to peace in the Middle East. Who knows?
Dude, I had that idea when I was on acid one time. I thought all the world leaders need to be locked in the UN together on acid and Viagra, and they just need to fuck it out. How are we going to nuke each other when you've been peaking on acid while coming inside of each other and making eye contact? You're in love for life. Gay, straight, whatever. Every hole's fair game. How's there going to be war after that when it's like, oh, such a beautiful soul. like such a caring lover. Like...
I used to hate him, but yeah.
Shit, man. My voice is going.
Yeah, it's getting to be around that time I gotta start. Yeah.
Okay, we are at 100. We are at 100.69 gigabytes. So it's
wow. Yeah.
Most of the episodes go up to about 30, and then I compress them down to 2. Okay. I think the longest one went to 70. We broke 100. Actually, it's 3 hours on the nose. Mm-hmm. Longest podcast ever. I think when we can line one up with, I'm doing one with Rob on Sunday, but you said you're not available.
Yeah, I gotta work.
And he wasn't available today. I think if you, me, and Rob get together, I think we can break 4 hours. I have no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
And let's be very clear: quantity is not quality. If you want an interesting podcast,
I don't know what you're talking about. We just divulged into fucking AI being super tricky. Holds us all at dildo points. So.
Well, I gotta get people to watch this video, so I'm just gonna put a USAF drone operator, and I'm not gonna write. I was gonna put UFOs, but I don't know what to put now, so I think I'm just gonna put some like clickbait title so people watch it. Because there's
no. Just having the top be like, we don't talk about drones.
The drone operator description. We don't talk about drones. Yeah. I don't think we ever talked about drones. We sure talked about AI. It's yeah. If you guys want an interesting, educating podcast, I had a wonderful power lifter on yesterday. I've had NASA employees, all very interesting. If you just try to kill time, listen to this one. All right, man.
Yep. That was a good one, though. I enjoyed this one.
I've said this after every podcast, but I truly mean it when I say it. This was my favorite one. And it's not just some bullshit. It really is. Whichever one I do, I thoroughly enjoy that one more. So
nice. Glad I could help, man. Yeah, I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, so. I'm doing another one later tonight, so that will be my new favorite. But
yeah, dude. Yeah, give your voice a break and fucking okay. Next.
Well, I'm having on Ernie. Ernie was Ernie did an internship for the Obama administration, and he worked for the Democratic Party of Georgia. So you told me
about him last time.
Yeah. That's like we said. Like I practice what I preach. I'd like to have people on that completely challenge my beliefs. I don't, you and I, we got on it and we kind of backed away from it because I'd say you and I have pretty similar beliefs, and I don't think no growth comes from that.
Yeah,
we're just it's gonna be a circle jerk.
We're just stroking each other's egos and shit.
Yeah. So that's why I purposely try to. The only politics I have people whose views are the antithesis of mine, because that's the only way I'm going to grow as a person, but that's also the only way it's going to be any sort of an intriguing podcast. I'm having Ernie on later. Ernie, my voice is gone, but Ernie said he had some dental work yesterday, so he said his mouth's all swollen. So this might just be like a 1920s like silent film. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'll let you go.
Yeah, dude. It was fun.
I appreciate it. It's absolutely. We got to do another one. We got to. Let's get a group chat going with Rob, and we need to set like a Saturday or a Sunday aside. And I think we start at like 10 a.m.
Saturday evenings are good, man.
Oh, that,
Be
yeah.
on nights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Long time. So.
Yeah, we just need to set one aside. I'll set one where I don't have any podcasts the next day so I can sleep in. And we should just fucking... We should go for just like 7 hours. Just fucking... Just bullshit.
Just marathon.
Just bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
All right, man.
I'll let you go, man. Take care.
All right. Peace.